University of Alabama football on the radio, a rich part of the Crimson Tide tradition. Today's Sugar Bowl game is brought to you by State Farm and the nearly 400 State Farm agents in Alabama who support Crimson Tide football. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. First Alabama Bank, one of the strongest banks in America. Texaco System 3 gasolines for performance in every octane grade. Texaco, the energy to go further. Budweiser, the king of beers, who reminds you friends know when to say when. The fine flavors of Buffalo Rock Bottling Company. Dr. Pepper, just what the doctor ordered. And Pepsi, gotta have it. True Value. Got a tough job to do? You can do it with True Value hardware stores. BC Powders. For powerful pain relief, BC Headache Powder. No matter where you're hurting, nothing works faster than BC. Buy Food World. You can't beat Food World's prices. Bentbrook Golf Course. Birmingham's premier public golf course, where we're always ready for you to play. By the Sheraton Capstone Inn. When visiting Tuscaloosa, stay at the Sheraton Capstone Inn. And by the Sheraton Perimeter Hotel. When in Birmingham, stay where the Tide stays. Sheraton Perimeter Park South Hotel, Highway 280 and I-459. And now, from the Superdome in New Orleans, here is the voice of the Crimson Tide, Eli Gold.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Louisiana Superdome as we are just 6.5 minutes away from kickoff in this battle for the national championship with Doug Layton and Jerry Duncan. I'm Eli Gold. Our entire Alabama Sports Network crew on hand. Our statistician is Tom Roberts. Our spotter, Butch Owens. Our engineer-producer is Tom Stipe. Kirk Wood and Missy Beatrice on hand from Host Communications. Our producer emeritus is Bert Bank, who himself has seen many of these national championship games. But at this point, gentlemen, at 20 minutes of the hour prior to kickoff, I think all that can be said has been said. Doug Layton, Jerry Duncan, if either one of you fellows have something imaginative that has yet to been talked about, feel free to speak up, because the talk has been almost stifling to some degree.
It really has. It's almost been like a Super Bowl hype with all the reporters. It's the largest amount of media ever to assemble for a Sugar Bowl. They had press gatherings every day for the players, and I really don't think anything is left until, unless it is the game. That's the only thing that's left, because we can analyze it, we can talk about it, and scrutinize it, and criticize it. But it's going to boil down to who can tackle, who does not make mistakes, who can keep the offense on the field for at least 7 snaps every possession. That team will win this ball game.
It has been a party atmosphere, as you would expect here in Louisiana. Bourbon Street throughout the French Quarter. You really couldn't move of your own volition last night as the clock struck midnight. Wherever the masses wanted to take you, that's where you move. The Miami Hurricanes now making their way onto the field. There's one man we have not spoken that much about, Jerry Duncan, and that is quarterback Gino Torretta. Simply because he's won the Heisman, the folks know almost all there is to know about the man. How does Alabama stop a quarterback that no one else has been able to stop in the last 29 games?
Well, he's a 5-year senior, like you said. He does everything good. I think what Alabama will try to do, first of all, it's a one-back attack until they get into short yardage situations, Eli. Of course, Curry and Copeland, we've got to shut the one-back attack down with those guys up front. Then I think you'll see Alabama try to get inside Toretta's head and play games with him. We're going to have to guess a little bit. We're going to gamble some. Well, I just hope we can gamble right.
And the roar of the crowd welcomes the Alabama Crimson Tide onto the playing field. Again, the flashbulbs just popping at a miraculous rate. There's confetti raining down from the upper deck. Balloons that are being displayed and flying towards the top of the roof here at the Superdome. It is a carnival atmosphere, as we've said, normally reserved strictly for a Super Bowl or for Game 7 of the World Series. It's come to college football here tonight.
It's going to be interesting to see who goes out on the field for the toss of the coin. Now, Miami will turn their back on the opposition, and that's what they're doing now. They're walking slowly to the sideline. The Alabama players are very, very excited and jumping up and down. The game captains are getting ready to go out for the coin toss. I'll tell you what scares me most about this ball game, Eli and Jerry, is that defense that Miami throws at you. Alabama has the top-ranked defense in the country, granted, but Miami is not too shabby either, led by Michael Barrow, one of the fastest linebackers in America. You got to run right at this guy. That's the only hope you got.
The officials working this championship game are from the Southwest Conference. The referee is Rogers Redding. The umpire, Joe Darden. The head linesman is Gary Slaughter. Mike Liner is the line judge, appropriately enough. The field judge is John Bible. He will not be hearing much biblical talk on the field tonight. The side judge, Mike Wetzel. The back judge, Ron Murphy. Again, the officiating crew from the Southwest Conference. The Alabama captains now begin to creep towards midfield. Jerry Duncan is there, too. Jerry, is it as deafening as I would expect it is there standing out near the logo?
I'm having a hard time hearing you guys. I think you said something to me, Eli. It's just really, really loud pandemonium. Of course, Miami is going through their routine of turning their back on the opposing team. I don't think the captains will shake hands. Hopefully I'll be able to go out and see.
I don't think the captains, as a policy, they don't shake the opposition captain's hand. And this is something that Coach Dennis Erickson said he tried to talk the players into doing, and they would not. They said, no, this is the way we feel. This is the way we're going to act.
Let's go to midfield. Jerry Duncan is there with referee Rogers Redding and the toss of the coin to set things underway at the Sugar Bowl.
Rogers Redding is telling them to shake hands, but nobody is sticking a hand out, so on either side.
If you call a ball in the air, if I drop it, we'll do over again.
He's talking to Miami's captains.
You got to holler it out to him. Okay, call it. Head! He says heads, it's tails. Okay, you can kick, receive, defend the goal, or you can wait till the second half. You want to defer to the second half. Okay.
Alabama defers. Eli, I guess you picked that up.
We did. We heard the big yell of heads by the captain for the Miami Hurricanes. It was tails. And Prince Wimbley, himself a native of Miami, was the man who said Alabama will defer. The Crimson Tide has some 145 players on hand for this game. The walk-ons have, appropriately enough, now walked onto the field as well. They have their jerseys on over their street clothes. It's quite a contingent.
What happened on the... I didn't see the official make the move. Is Miami receiving to start this, or is Alabama receiving?
Miami is going to receive.
So they chose to get the ball first, and Alabama will be up defensively first. So it's going to be interesting to see what we can do with Gino Torretta and his group.
The deep man, and I say man because the far and away most potent return man for the Miami Hurricanes is a 5'9" junior from Dallas, Texas, Kevin Williams. He is averaging 20.5 yards per kickoff return. Jonathan Harris is averaging 22.5 yards, but he's not nearly as flashy, but is far more effective as far as the numbers are concerned. So Williams gets the headlines. Harris is the man who normally does the work.
And, of course, as Alabama fans everywhere know, Alabama has had trouble in the past with kickoff coverage, and invariably the receiving team has gotten the ball in pretty good field position following a kickoff, but this is something that the Alabama coaches have been very aware of course, and they have been working overtime and in sometimes at full speed to correct this error.
The Alabama players now taking their positions. What is going through the mind of a man like Michael Proctor? At this time a year ago, he was lining up to kick off against Thompson High School or someone else on the Pelham High School schedule. Now he is getting set to kick off for the Collegiate National Championship game in front of 80,000 here in New Orleans. Again, the deep men are Kevin Williams and Jonathan Harris. Alabama, as the home team, is in the crimson jerseys, the white pants, the crimson headgear. Miami, as the visitor, in white jerseys, orange pants, the green numerals, and trim. The Alabama and Miami fans standing. The kick is underway. The flashbulbs popping wildly, and the football handled by Williams at the 2. Up the near side 10, 15. George Teague has him hard hit. 20-yard line. Down he goes. It'll be an 18-yard return for Kevin Williams as first George Teague and then Will Brown and Dabo Swinney came in to put the exclamation point on that hit.
Great coverage by the Alabama coverage that time, the team, because if you can stop the kickoff return guy inside your 25, you've done a very good job, and if you stop him inside the 20, you've done an excellent job, and they dropped him at the 18.
Gino Torretta, 26-1 as a starting quarterback with Donnell Bennett and Kevin Williams lined up. It'll be just the single setback now. Bennett. They'll send 2 wide men left, 1 to the near side. 1st and 10, Hurricanes from their own 18-yard line, going left to right. Toretta, the quarterback. He'll drop back, take 3-4 drop. He'll feed out to Bennett on the flare. He'll cut to the inside, gets taken down at the 21-yard line. A pickup of 3. Sam Shade came up to make the play. And, Jerry, they said they gave Sam Shade some more responsibilities for this ball game. Willie Gaston now checks into the lineup on a 2nd and 7 for the Canes.
A quick outlet that time. Alabama really penetrated very, very well. It was a halfback screen. They dropped him after only a 3-yard pickup. Good coverage by Alabama.
Out of the shotgun with Donnell Bennett, the single setback. 5 defensive backs for Alabama on a 2nd and 7. The snap out of the shotgun. Toretta has to roll. He'll go to the left side, being chased and put down by Tommy Johnson. It'll be Johnson getting Toretta back at the 18-yard line. The play will lose 3. Now, Gino Toretta has been very effective out of the shotgun. He is 64 of 91, 4 touchdowns. He throws for nearly 1,000 yards.
He was out of the shotgun that time. I'm talking they chased him out of the shotgun, and he is not a very good scrambler. And you saw Alabama displaying pretty speedy defensive movement that time as they dropped him for a 2-yard loss.
6 defensive backs now on a 3rd and 10 Miami. Football at their own 18 from the far hash mark. From the shotgun with Bennett again being kept in for blocking at the left side. Toretta drops back, takes a 4-step drop. He'll look and fire. It is incomplete. Incomplete to Coleman Bell, the split end on the right side. And the senior from Tampa with Sam Shade watching couldn't come up. And again, it was the hard pressure of Copeland that really forced the play.
And really getting through and applying some pretty good pressure was Jamie Nunley of Alabama. He made good penetration and made him hurry the pass, and he was off target.
Now, this is what 70,000 people saying deuce sounds like. As Paul Snyder, the senior punter from Laguna Niguel, California, who averages 40 yards a punt. Willie punted to David Palmer. He'll get this one away. But Palmer takes it at the 40. Back to the 38. Up the middle. Big hole. 50, 45, 40. He's loose to the 30, 35, 25-yard line. They kick to the deuce, and David responds. Alabama, 1st and 10. Inside the Miami 25-yard line. A 44-yard punt and a 38-yard return for the deuce.
I was wrong. They were foolhardy enough to kick to the deuce, and this time he got through that first initial wave so quickly, and then once you got him in a broken field, you got problems on your hand. They finally swarmed him down at the 24.
Alabama sending Prince Wimbley wide to the far side. David Palmer to the near side. Jay Barker, the quarterback, with the backs in the eye. Houston ahead of Lassick. Give us to Lassick. Big hole left side. He's forward. Breaks man loose inside the 20 to the 19-yard line. Michael Barrow and Jesse Armstead, who lined up at the weak side linebacker that time, there to make the stop.
When you got linebackers with the speed of Armstead and a Barrow, what do you do to negate the speed? You go straight at it. And that's what Alabama is going to try to do today, run between the tackles.
3 minutes into the ball game. Bama 2nd and 6. Football at the Hurricane 20. Heading towards the end zone to our left. Here on the play fake. Here's a give. It goes off left side. Lassick, he's to the 10. Cuts inside to the 5-yard line. Derek Lassick runs down out of bounds at the 6. They will call it officially. Big gainer for the young man out of Haverstraw, New York, playing his final game for the Crimson Tide.
That time, Matt Hammond pulling out, just threw a crunching block on the left side for Alabama, and it was on Barrow, and he knocked him off his feet to spring him to the 5 and complete a 14-yard gain by Lassick.
It'll be 1st and goal from the 6-yard line. Wimbley wide right. Left side is David Palmer. Buskey is the tight end. Miami has called timeout. Michael Barrow, the middle linebacker, called time. And with 12:25 to go in the opening quarter, Bama knocking on the door in a scoreless game. This is the Alabama Sports Network. Earned by David Palmer of 38 yards after a 44-yard punt gave Alabama the big field position. Lassick on 2 carries picks up 18 yards. It'll be 1st and goal, Bama from the 6 in a moment. This is the Alabama Sports Network. First and goal, Alabama from the Miami 6. The Tide putting in the beef now. Martin Houston is in. Craig Harris is in. Steve Buskey is in. Looking now to see if he can spot a second tight end. It will be Tony Johnson, so the two tight end alignment, plus Harris and Houston, Jerry Duncan, they're bringing in the hard, heavy artillery.
This is muscle, and you're going to have muscle going against you, too, Eli. Two great runs after the great field position, the tall sweep that they broke back to the inside, and then, of course, a kind of a misdirection counter that Lassick, I thought he was going to score on. Here we go, Eli. Take them in.
First and goal from the 6, Bama, heading at the end zone to our left. Barker, he'll roll behind the block, look for a pass deflected. He had Lassick loose, wide open, but Michael Barrow got a piece of it, knocking it away at the last second, but Lassick was wide open in the end zone, couldn't get it to him.
Great call that time offensively for Alabama. Send Barker moving to the right, and had he put a little air under the ball and he got it up a little, it would have been complete more than likely, but it was slapped away.
Actually, it was Casey Greer and not Barrow who got a hand on it. Greer, the senior from Memphis, Tennessee, who was the number 4 tackler on the ball club. Second and 6. Second and goal from the 6. Off the near hash mark, Barker, the quarterback. In motion is Lassick on the pitch. He goes off the left side following the blocking of Martin Houston to the 3-yard line. Down to the 3-yard line, a pickup of 3. It's third and goal from the 3. Patrick and Barrow combining on the stop.
Now, that's the kind of play that Miami expects Alabama to run down this close to the goal line, and that's the high percentage. Just give it to the halfback, let him find a hole, cut in, and try to get into the end zone. He managed to pick up about 3 or 4 yards on the play, but a third down is confronting Alabama right now.
Miami allowing just 101 yards per game on the ground. Bama 69 of 179 in third down conversions. Third and goal from the 3-yard line. Knocking on the hurricane door. Barker drops back. He'll roll. Looks, finds an opening. He'll dive forward to the 2. He dives forward to the 2-yard line. Robert Bass, the middle linebacker, with Darren Crine making the stop. And here comes the field goal unit. I think wisely, Gene Stalling says, give us some points at this point without trying to shove it in.
Yeah, well, you got to do that. Upset in the end zone was Steve Buskey, who was wide open, but Jay didn't spot him, didn't see him. He tried to run it in himself. So instead, Alabama will have to settle for a field goal.
A 19-yard field goal attempt, the first one from this close that Proctor's attempted this year. Kick is up, and the kick is good. It is basically an extra point, is what Proctor just kicks. Now with 10:56 remaining in this opening quarter, Bama draws first blood. It's Alabama 3, Miami nothing. This is the Alabama Sports Network. 6 plays on that drive, 23 yards, 2 minutes and 8 seconds. And with 10:56 remaining in the opening quarter, it's Alabama 3, Miami nothing. We'll be right back. Well, the Alabama Crimson Tide coming up with the first points of the ball game. They get 3. It would have been awfully sweet to get 6 or 7, but they couldn't quite penetrate that Miami defense.
That's right, and that'll really give the Miami defense a little boost because they found themselves in a hole with Alabama taking over the ball at their own 24 and having to settle for a field goal. Gave them a little boost, I'll bet you. And now let's see if the Alabama defense can do it again to Miami.
Kevin Williams, the deep man, to the near side. Jonathan Harris deep to the far side. Alabama will be kicking it right to left here as we go back to work with 10:56 remaining in the opening quarter. 3-0. The Tide is on top. Here comes Michael Proctor to adjust the football at the 35-yard line. He'll kick it to Kevin Williams at the goal line, 1 yard deep. Williams cuts up the near side, angles left and cuts right. He is run out of bounds to the 21-yard line. First and 10, Miami from that point. George Teague, who has played well for Alabama, along with Willie Gaston on special teams, making the stop.
Still pretty good coverage by the Alabama team, though, to stop him right around the 20, 21-yard line. Not bad at all. And again, Gino Toretto brings his army out with him, and let's see how the Alabama defense does. Well, they held him to 3 and a punt last time out.
They'll work with Stephen McGuire as the single setback, the senior from Brooklyn, New York. Under center is Toretto. with wideouts to the left side. 1st and 10 from their own 21-yard line, going left to right. The give to McGuire, off left tackle, breaks a tackle out to the 21.5, 22. He broke a tackle, but James Gregory came back to help out and really held that gain to about a half yard, maybe a yard.
Excellent play that time by Curry on the right side, because he would not allow the play to get to the outside. That's what he was trying to do, and as a consequence, finally stopped. Even though he did break the tackle, he was stopped for practically no gain. Good defensive play by Alabama that time.
You know, Jerry, if anybody gets outside on either of these teams, it'll be a surprise.
You're exactly right.
2nd and 9 now for Miami. Football is at their own 22-yard line. McGuire, the single setback. Torretta out of the shotgun. Bama trying to come stunting as the snap is back to Torretta. Gino has time. Rolls left and fires across the middle. Complete out to the 26-yard line by Horace Copeland, the wide receiver from Orlando, Florida. The Willie Gaston stop held that one shy of the first down yardage as we pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Alabama Sports Network. 3rd and 4. Football at their own 27. Bama with 6 defensive backs. Jeremy Nunley comes in to join the fray as well. From the far hash mark, Torretta with no backs behind him. 3 wideouts right and 1 left from the shotgun. On the snap, quick drop, fire across the middle, complete. Looses Williams. He's across the 50 into Alabama territory to the 48-yard line, down to the 38-yard line. Kevin Williams, the speedster, getting that quick drop pass from Torretta, and he took it all the way down to the Bama 38, a pickup of 33 yards on the play.
What you saw Williams that time cutting in under the Alabama zone, and as a consequence, he completed the short toss to him. It's probably only about a 11, 12-yard pass, but then with the speed that Williams possesses, he's in the Alabama secondary and had to react quickly to bring him down.
Remarkably, the first reception of the year for Williams, who does most of his work on special teams. Here now, Torretta with the single setback, McGuire. 1st and 10. Football at the Bama 39, heading towards the end zone to our right. Torretta fakes, play action, throws it across the middle, overshoots everyone. George Teague was closest. Chris Jones, the intended receiver, but it falls well off the mark and incomplete, setting up a 2nd down and 10.
Good pressure being applied by James Gregory that time, the nose tackle. He was getting into the Miami backfield, and it was going to be just a quick drop on a slant, and Torretta loves to throw those slants across the middle. But Alabama had it very well defensed. He just perhaps threw it away.
Donnell Bennett checks back in, while the wideout Chris Jones goes wide to the left side, wide to the near side, Lamar Thomas. 2nd and 10 from the 39. Bennett steps up, nobody behind Torretta. On a 2nd and 10 from the Bama 39. Quick drop, Torretta throws to the far flat, complete, out of bounds to the 30-yard line. He found Jonathan Harris that time, circling out of what would have been normally a tailback slot, but again he was wing back there with nobody standing behind Torretta. It'll be a 1st down pickup for the Hurricanes.
This is the kind of pass that Torretta lives on, the slants across the middle and the 10, 11, 15-yard out patterns, and Torretta is very good with those passes, and that time he picked up the 1st down.
8:43 to go, opening quarter. Bama on top 3-0. 1st and 10 from the 29-yard line. Here now at the far hash mark. It's Torretta dropping back, single setback. McGuire, he is stopped as he is approaching the 30-yard line and sent straight back. Eric Curry made the big stop.
That time just a straight handoff to McGuire. He was stopped behind the line of scrimmage, a loss of 2-3 yards, and this is what Alabama must do. They must completely shut down Miami's running game and force Torretta to throw on almost every down, and that's what one of the keys to beating this Hurricane squad.
It's now 2nd and 13. Football at the 32-yard line of Alabama. Torretta will now go to the shotgun with wideouts, 3 to the right, 1 to the left. Gino drops back, lofts one, far sidelines, too far. Intended for Kevin Williams, the speedster, coming out of the backfield. Again, he has caught a number of passes, Williams has. 40 passes from the tailback slot, but the one he caught before, the first one he has caught from the flanker position this season. That time they looked for him and they came up feathers.
Alabama has yet to blitz Torretta. They are not putting the blitz on him at all. They're just putting normal all pressure with the front three guys, but you can do that when you got guys like Curry and Copeland in there. And also, Teague let Williams know he was back there as he muscled him out of bounds, even on the missed pass.
1 of 2 in third down conversions, the numbers for the Hurricanes. They're 3rd and 13 from the Bama 32. Donnell Bennett, the single setback. Toretta from the shotgun, steps back, throws near side behind his intended receiver, and short. He was looking for Lamar Thomas, who had a step on Willie Gaston and Eric Turner, but the pass was short, and Thomas had to turn the wrong way, and the kicking game will now bring Paul Snyder onto the field. This would be a bit far for a conventional kicker in the Miami mode of things, but here they're going to try one anyway. Dane Pruitt now trots on, the redshirt freshman from Birmingham's Hewitt-Trussville High School. It'll be a 49-yarder. His longest of the year is 44. From the far hash mark, the snap and spotter there, the kick by Pruitt, end over end. It is good. It is good. A 49-yard field goal by Dane Pruitt for the Miami Hurricanes. We are tied at 3 with 7:49 remaining in the opening quarter at the national championship game, the USF&G Sugar Bowl. This is the Alabama Sports Network. 9-yard field goal by Dane Pruitt was his 14th field goal of the year. His longest had been 44. He's now got a 49-yarder, capping a drive of 9 plays, 47 yards in 3 minutes, 7 seconds. We're tied at 3. And from New Orleans, we'll be right back. So each team has had to settle for a field goal here in the opening quarter as Dane Pruitt gets set to kick it away for the Hurricanes. And Jerry Duncan, I guess some justice on both sides of the football thus far.
I think so. You can tell that adrenaline flowing. A guy kicks a 49-yard field goal, and he's only kicked 144 yards all year.
He, of course, replaced Carlos Huerta, who was the outstanding field goal kicker for the last number of years for the Miami Hurricanes. Here's Pruitt set to kick it away to the trio of Bama deep men. Sherman Williams far side, David Palmer in the middle, Chris Anderson to the near side. The kick will go left to right as we look at it from our 50-yard line seat. The right-footed kick high in the air. It is short, end over end to Palmer at the 10. 15, cuts right to the 20, up the right sideline to the 25, forward to the 27-yard line. Snowed under by Malcolm Pearson and others. Little pushing and shoving there along the sidelines. Everybody converging in now. Steve Buskey is there along with a number of players for the Hurricanes. The coaches will try and separate them all as Bama gets the football out at the 26-yard line.
A little talking trash, they call it. And that time it occurred right in front of the Miami bench. But everybody maintained cool heads, separated, and trotted to the sideline. And Alabama's offense taking over at their own 27. No, they've moved it back inside the 26. Now they will have to keep the ball at least 7 or 8 snaps, because you can't be punting to Miami from deep in your own territory.
David Palmer has to leave the game for a moment with an equipment problem, something wrong with his helmet. Equipment manager Tank Connerly makes the repair. Kevin Lee will check in. Wideouts either way. Backs are in the eye with a man in motion to the near side. That's Lassick on the 1st and 10 from the 26. The flare pass, far side, complete. It's across the 30, out of bounds at about the 33-yard line. Hard hitting that time on Kevin Lee after he made the reception. Rather, Prince Wembley, correct myself, not Lee who made the reception. Terrace Harris was one of those to make the hard stick, along with Dexter Siegler, the corner and free safety, respectively.
The Prince was on the right side, and the Alabama offense started left, and Barker pulled up, wheeled around, and threw to the weak side, and trying to get Prince one-on-one to spring him, he did manage to pick up about 7 on the play.
Lee wide to the far side. Near side, it's Curtis Brown on a 2nd and 4 from the 32. Lee in motion near side. The handoff to Lassick up the middle. Big hole. First down, Alabama. Out to the 38-yard line. Terrace Harris along with Darren Crine combining on the stop. Lassick comes up with a big smile on his face after that big hole gave him a huge gainer.
Great blocking that time by Alabama. All of a sudden now the Alabama offense really seems to have Miami's number. They're blocking very, very well. The backs are running very, very well. And I'm telling you, Coach Stallings has said it time and time again. If you can run on a team, you can beat them.
Toby Shields over the football on a 1st and 10 from the 39. Palmer in motion near side. Give off the misdirection. Lassick forward to the 44-yard line. Kevin Patrick will make the stop. Martin Houston with a big block that time, springing the Alabama gainer.
All right, for the first time this year, we've seen it's almost like the two guards pulling and going in opposite direction, but it was a good trap that time. It worked very well, and this is something Alabama must do on first down. You got to pick up 5 or more yards every snap on first down.
6:45 to go. Opening quarter. Tied at 3. 2nd and 5, Bama from their own 44. Palmer in motion to the far side. Between the hash marks. Pitch back to Lassick. Big hole. Forward across the Sugar Bowl logo out near midfield. He was hit finally and put down by Siegler and Smith. Casey Greer made the final put near midfield.
I'll tell you, that Derek Lassick runs with wild abandon, doesn't he? Only weighs shade under 200 pounds, but he puts every ounce of that into his efforts when he runs the football. He almost got the first down. He's a half-yard shy. It's 3rd down for Alabama.
Buskey, Johnson are in. Craig Harris is in on a 3rd and 1 from the 48, their own. Lassick averaging 5.1 per carry coming in. Here's the 3rd and 1 at 48-yard line. The give, Lassick trying to go over the top. Second effort, they may push him forward to the 49-yard line. That second effort, Jerry, is what got him. The first time he had trouble getting over the heap, but he kind of fell forward to get the yardage.
I believe that was Craig Harris that they brought back in motion to come in and try to block the end, but he got all bunched up. A good job, Eli, like you said, on second effort.
That's right, to get the first down. It looked like he might have had trouble on a handoff because his timing on the leap seemed to be a little off. He finally got there, and when he did, the line had already met, and Miami had gone up with the defense, but they got the first down.
Tarrant Lynch now checks in. 1st and 10, Bama from the 49-yard line. Chris Anderson, the other running back. On the give to Anderson. He fumbles it. He gets it back. It was a Utah shovel, actually, that never was completed to Anderson. It would have been an incomplete forward pass, but nevertheless, for the moment, you weren't quite sure, and it did come right back up into Anderson's hand, but Bama trying the Utah shovel. It'll set up a 2nd and 10 from the 49.
Yeah, that's right. That'll go down as an incomplete forward pass. That'll put the ball back at the original line of scrimmage, so it'll be 2nd and 10. And this is what you don't want. The 2 times Alabama's passed on first downs, they fell incomplete in the ball game so far.
Now the officials talking something over. Referee Rogers Redding, who is the official in charge in the Southwest Conference, he just has a quick discussion with one of the officials on the sideline and says, let's get back to business. 2nd and 10, Alabama at the Miami 49. Lassick, 7 carries, 40 yards. Play clock at 7 seconds, 6, 5. Here's the 2nd and 10. Snap, 3 seconds on the play clock to get it away. Barker steps back. He is in trouble as everybody is covered, and Barker goes down back at his own 45. Michael Barrow, his 3rd sack of the year from his middle linebacker spot atop Jay Barker. But everybody in the coverage department had Bama blanketed.
Well, that plus the fact it appeared to me he was going to try to go long to one of the wideouts, then you haven't got time when you got linebackers like Michael Barrow blitzing, and they got to him before he could even set up. So a big loss on the play, and it's 3rd down and predictable, and that's what you don't want to be against this Miami defense.
4.5 remaining, opening quarter, tied at 3. It's a 3rd and 16, Bama from their own 45. Anderson, the single setback. Barker to throw. Jay steps back and airs it out long, intercepted. Intercepted by the Hurricanes down the left sidelines inside Bama's 40. It'll be Casey Greer, the strong safety, picking off that pass from Jay Barker. For Greer, his 2nd interception of the year, and for Jay Barker, the 10th time he has been picked off.
The pass just floated on him. Barker didn't... He had the guy there, but just let it go a little high, and it sailed over his head and the free safety come flying over. He's just a center fielder. Made the interception and returned it downfield. It was Greer, so now this is what you don't want to do. Give this Miami offense the ball deep in your own territory.
Casey Greer, who led the secondary in tackles with 69. He was the guy you might remember who made that final hit on the Syracuse Orangemen as time expired in their ball game a few weeks ago to preserve Miami's 16-10 victory. So a big play by Greer. Let's listen to the official now with an announcement. There's going to be an infraction.
I couldn't hear what he said.
I couldn't hear what he said. An infraction, I believe, actually for being too close to the sideline. The players had come out with a sideline celebration after that interception. So the football is being spotted now at the 39-yard line of Alabama after the Greer pickoff. It's a 1st and 10 from the 39. Donnell Bennett, the single setback. He now joins Toretta, who's working from the shotgun. 2 wideouts to the right side, 1 to the left side from the far hash mark. Toretta from the drop throws it across the middle, complete to Bennett, circling out of the backfield. He is run out of bounds at the 37-yard line by the Crimson Tide. Oden gets up after the good hit. Derek Oden, the senior out of Tuscaloosa's Hillcrest.
Good pressure that time being applied by Eric Curry. He got into the backfield and shed his blocker and started toward Gino Toretta, but Toretta let it go in a hurry, got the completion, and quickly Oden knocked him out at right around the 36. He'll give him a pickup of 3 on the play.
2nd and 7, football at the 36-yard line. Alabama with the full house in the backfield. Toretta, with no setbacks behind him, is working under center from the far hash mark. 3-3 ball game. Toretta will drop back. Quick release. Throws complete. It's to the 30. Inside the 30 to the 25-yard line. Lamar Thomas forward. Fumbles the football. Recovered by Alabama. Lamar Thomas. At least the Bama players say it was recovered by the Tide. The officials now concur. A fumble recovery by the Alabama Crimson Tide. Their 15th fumble recovery of the year. Willie Gaston comes up with his first fumble recovery of the season.
The guy that knocked the ball loose, though, for Alabama was Tommy Johnson, who really closed on Lamar Thomas and hit him and slapped the ball loose. And this is what Thomas is really great at doing. He is so very, very fast. And Johnson dived in behind him and knocked it loose, or it could have been Antonio London. They were both involved.
Willie Gaston with the recovery, though. And Alabama now looking at a 1st and 10 from their own 23-yard line. Palmer wide to the far side. Single setback, working from the far hash mark. Palmer is in motion to the near side. Jay Barker, the quarterback. On the give. Lassick, nobody there to help him. He is put down after a loss of 3. Back at the 20-yard line. Barrow was there. Armistead was there. Kevin Patrick was there, and nobody to help out poor old Derek Lassick.
What happens is Miami is doing what they've said they were going to do. Their defensive coordinator, Lou Beacon, said all week that they're going to put enough guys up front to stop the Alabama run. Whatever it takes, however many it takes, that's what we're going to do, and that's what they did that time. They run a basic 4-3, but that time those 3 were on the line.
With Lassick in motion, Terrence Lynch, the single setback. The give is to Lynch. Off right tackle, loose to the 25-30. He's forward to the 33-34-yard line. Darn close to the first down yardage. Darn close to the yardage needed on a big hole that Jesse Armstead finally closed after a big pickup by Terrence Lynch.
Now, that's a play that Miami has never seen, because that was Derek Lassick going in motion to the right. The trap to send Lynch up the middle, right up the gut of this Miami defense, and they are vulnerable to the straight-ahead shot. And he almost got the first down. It's 3rd down and about a half a yard shy, and the last time they sent Lassick over the top in this type situation.
This time it's Lynch and Houston in the backfield on the 3rd and 1 from their own 32 with the wideouts. The give, Martin Houston runs into a brick wall but then falls forward for the first down. Second time today, Jerry, that second effort or somebody finally giving on Miami's side of the ball has yielded a Bama first down.
Well, Martin Houston's been given second, third effort all year. He had to have it that time because he was stopped at the original line of scrimmage.
The number 3 rusher for the Crimson Tide, averaging 4.4 yards per carry. So it's 1st and 10, Bama at their own 34-yard line. 2.5 to go. Opening quarter. Tied at 3. The setbacks are Lassick and Palmer. Palmer's in motion. They give to Lassick. Is he going to get outside? Yes, he turns the corner across the 40 to the 41, 42-yard line. Darren Smith made the stop, but you don't often see him get outside, Jerry Duncan. And that time, the man on the corner trying to keep him in was Kenny Lopez, and they don't often beat Lopez either, Doug.
No, you do not get outside on this Miami squad. They're very, very comfortable with their speed, their lateral speed. But that time, because of the good shield blocking, Lassick did spring it out and picked up about 7 or 8 yards on the play. And if Alabama can continue to move the ball on the ground like this, it'll have the Miami defenders starting to squint their eyes and wonder.
A couple of field goals, a 19-yarder by Proctor, a 49-yarder by Pruitt has this game tied at 3. 2nd and 3, Bama from the 42. Palmer in motion out of the eye. As Barker looks on a misdirection, everybody's covered. He is chased. He is loose. He's got running room against Lopez. He's to the 50. First down, Alabama. As Barker on a misdirection play, then looked to throw. Everybody was covered. He took off, and even though Lopez has lost 20 pounds and has picked up quickness, even Lopez is not going to outrun a quarterback with that kind of an edge in the position.
That's right. Barker took off that time. I think he was looking for Palmer going across the middle. He couldn't get to him. A couple of good blocks by Alabama, but Lopez finally knocked him out of bounds. A great run by Jay Barker, picking up a crucial first down.
1st and 10, looking at Bama now from the Miami 48-yard line. Glad you're with us tonight on the Alabama Sports Network. The Sugar Bowl for the national championship. Lassick and Palmer in the eye. Palmer in motion from the far hash mark. Jay Barker drops back again, fakes, fires. It's incomplete, knocked down by Darren Smith, and could well have been intercepted by Smith had he had any idea that the football was coming his way. One of those, Jerry, that Barker was lucky that it wasn't picked off.
I think he had Palmer over there, but Jay'd like to have that one back.
Yeah, he sure would. But Palmer was the guy who was going down the right side, but he had to hurry the throw because breaking through was Armstead from his linebacker position on a blitz, and he wasn't picked up. And Barker, I thought, did an excellent job to rid himself of the ball.
Darren Smith, the man who knocked it down. 2nd and 10, Alabama from the 48 of the Canes. 2 minutes to go, opening quarter, tied at 3. Backs in the eye. Again, Palmer in motion to the short side of the field. Barker drops back to throw. He's got a moment, deploys it to Lassick, knocked away, incomplete. It was again broken up by the Hurricanes, who were in there quickly. It was Warren Sapp, a redshirt freshman from Apopka, Florida, who made the deflection.
Sapp played it beautifully. It was a halfback screen to the left side. They were setting it up there. Sapp saw Lassick drift over, stayed with him, and slapped the ball away. And now Alabama, predictably, is probably going to throw the ball, or perhaps a draw, because it is 3rd and 10 again, and Miami's defense loves to get you in these positions.
Bama 2 of 3 in 3rd down conversions. Lee wide right, Wimbley wide left. Barker with time. Jay steps up. Jay throws long, looking for Wimbley. The ball hangs up in the air. It is intercepted by the Hurricanes.
The ball just hung on.
The ball just hung up in the air interminably. Ryan McNeil will come down with his 3rd interception of the year, the 2nd time that Barker has been picked off tonight. And the Hurricanes have the football 1st and 10 from the 23, Jerry.
Jay didn't get everything on that one, Eli. The ball got air under it, and he just it's not a good pass. I think Jay would like to have that one back.
We've got timeout here at the Superdome with this game tied at 3. A minute 53 to go in the opening quarter. Now this from our local stations on the Alabama Sports Network. The Miami Hurricanes with 2 interceptions. That's 20 for the year. But in many regards, this will be no worse than a punt, though Bama obviously does turn the football over. A minute 53 to go, opening quarter, tied at 3. We'll be right back. Tied at 3 here in New Orleans while the Orange Bowl is underway down in South Florida. Here's an update from Jim Szoke.
All right, Eli, Dixie Crystal Sugar update. It's all Florida State so far, 17-0. Seminoles lead Nebraska, 5:55 to play second quarter.
So that game, as many expected, somewhat of a one-sided affair as we welcome you back to the Louisiana Superdome. Alabama now shifting things back into a 6 defensive back formation on a 1st and 10 Miami. Football at their own 23-yard line. Danelle Bennett, the single setback behind Torretta, working from the near hash mark. Still in the first quarter, Torretta is going to audible. He'll step up now. Everybody leans in. The offensive line tells one another what the play is as Torretta throws down the near side, looping it long into double coverage. It falls incomplete. Bama had Johnson and Teague both covering on Horace Copeland that time.
That time Miami came up and spread it out, and Alabama brought everybody up. And this is something that Lamar Thomas had said all week Alabama wouldn't do, and that's play him man-to-man. They did then. Torretta threw it to him, but Alabama had him defense beautifully. And limping out of the ball game now for Miami is Horace Copeland,
the number 1 receiver that Torretta has.
That's correct. He hurt his ankle, it appears.
That's number 1 this year. Lamar Thomas is number 1 all time in Hurricane receptions. 6 DBs again in the 2nd and 10 for the Hurricanes, and now timeout is taken by Miami.
Torretta does not know what Alabama is doing for the life of him. He had to call a timeout when Alabama had everybody on the line of scrimmage.
So, 2 timeouts having been utilized by the Hurricanes here in the opening quarter. 1:48 remaining until we wrap up period number 1. It's a 3-3 ball game. Again, Alabama with a 19-yard field goal by Michael Proctor, then a 49-yard field goal by Dane Pruitt for the Hurricanes. Don't forget, tomorrow night we'll be on the air with Bama basketball, the team back east after the win in the Cable Car Classic. It's Bama and Vanderbilt, the start of the 60th SEC basketball schedule for the Crimson Tide. Broadcast time 6:30, tip-off 7:30 tomorrow night from Memorial Gymnasium in Nashville on the campus of Vanderbilt University. Right now, we pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Alabama Sports Network. Welcome back to the Superdome. 5 defensive backs now for Bama on a Miami 2nd and 10 from their own 23-yard line. Going left to right are the Hurricanes with Bennett the single setback. Here Torretta drops back, play action reverse. Football is covered up by Alabama. It was fumbled, I believe, or did they come up with it? No. The Hurricanes got it back. I thought for a moment it was loose on the carpet off Kevin Williams, but Alabama was there just to snuff him right down. Well, that was awfully close.
What happened, Eli, is that Alabama hadn't blitzed in this ball game today until then, and they didn't need it because Copeland and Curry both got into the Miami backfield, and on the handoff they were there when the ball arrived and dropped him for a tremendous loss. So it's 3rd and about 20 now for 19, let's say, for Miami. Big play.
Hurricanes 2 of 4 in 3rd down conversions from the shotgun with Bennett being kept in for blocking. 3 wideouts left. It's a 3rd and 18 from the 15. Torretta has time. Torretta drops back. He'll throw to the far side. Overshoots the intended receiver. Looking for Kevin Williams, and it is incomplete. Tommy.
Done. You got to take your hat off to Brother Oliver and the defensive staff for coming up with this plan, because it so far has Miami's offense rattled, and they're going to have to punt from practically their own end zone.
Does Paul Snyder punt to Palmer, who earlier returned a 44-yard punt, 38 yards? Let's see. Snyder from the 5 kicks it away. He's got the deuce at his own 45. David Palmer under heavy pressure. He goes left. He goes right. He'll break a tackle. Then is taken down on a hard hit at the 48-yard line. David Palmer, he was hit hard that time by C.J. Richardson. For a moment, it looked as though he was going to reach for his leg or his knee, but the deuce is okay. On the sidelines, we look across and see Sean Torretta, or rather Gino Torretta, on the telephones up to the press box. The Miami coaches right next to us, Jerry Duncan, and they're trying to figure out what Bama's showing.
I really think on that series right there, Eli, they got inside Torretta's mind, and he was just totally confused. They did a great job of substituting right at the last second with the 5th and 6th defensive backs.
Martin Houston and Derek Lassick in the eye. Bama 1st and 10 from their own 48-yard line. First flag of the game. The give is to Lassick across midfield to the Hurricanes 49. We'll have to wait on the call from Rogers Redding, the referee. It's a Southwest Conference officiating crew. The call is going to be against the Hurricanes.
They've jumped
so say the Crimson Tide players.
Yeah, they're waving, and I think they jumped offside, but let's wait and get the call. Yep, it's offside defense. Alabama will take that. It'll be a 5-yard step-off, so it'll be 1st and 5, and the ball will be placed inside the Miami territory. And so far in this ball game, except for the 2 interceptions, and of course that's a big
5-yard penalty, replays first down.
Alabama's offense has really had the better of it in this ball game.
We've got 40 seconds remaining in this opening quarter. Team rushing for Alabama, 66 yards. Team passing, just 6 yards. 1 of 7, 6 yards, and 2 interceptions for Jay Barker. Here we go from 1st and 5 at the Kane 47. Lassick in motion to the near side. Give is to Houston up the middle. It gets nothing. He was stymied immediately by Barrow and others who hit Martin Houston immediately for no gain, and that will likely be the final play of this opening quarter here at the Sugar Bowl. 3-3 the score. Alabama with a 19-yard field goal by Michael Proctor. The Hurricanes a 49-yard field goal by Dane Pruitt. 1 quarter complete, tied at 3 in the Sugar Bowl. We'll be right back. 1 quarter complete in the USF&G Sugar Bowl, tied at 3 here at the Superdome. Eli Gold with Doug Layton and Jerry Duncan, and Dougie Doo has the first quarter stats, compliments of Tom Roberts.
Let's take a look and see what happened in the first 15. Alabama with 5 first downs to Miami's 2, and of course the score is tied at 3 apiece. On the ground, Alabama's picked up 66 yards, 1 of 7 passing, but Barker's thrown 2 interceptions. And the 1 completion picked up 6 yards. So total yardage in the game, 72 yards for Alabama. For Miami, minus 13 on the ground, 68 in the air for a total of 55. Miami has lost 1 fumble and have been penalized 5 yards. Alabama has not fumbled and has not been penalized. Now, in time of possession, Alabama with 8 minutes and 33 seconds with the ball. Miami with 6 minutes and 47. So it's Alabama with a little bit of an edge stat-wise in the first quarter.
Houston and Lassick are in the eye. 2nd and 5. Football at the Hurricane 47 between the hash marks. Pitch back to Lassick. He'll follow the blocking off tackle. Big hole 40. Outside 30, 35, 25, 20-yard line. They'll say he's out of bounds to the 23. Harris forced him out of bounds. Finally, Lassick with a big hole. Ryan McNeely and Terrace Harris were the men to make the stop.
What a great block by Martin Houston that time. Lassick was almost caught behind the line of scrimmage, but Houston peeled him off, and he scooted around the right side, the short side of the field for a 24-yard pickup, by far the longest run in the ball game today, and Alabama again knocking at the Miami door.
And you see how the Hurricane defense cheats inside. They don't expect anybody will get outside of their men up front on those linebackers. 1st and 10, football at the 23 of the Canes. Parker gives Lassick up the middle. He'll get a yard, maybe, as he ran smack dab into the middle of that linebacking core. Darren Smith and Michael Barrow. Jerry, if you get outside, boy, you're going to get yourself 15 or 20 yards.
Well, I'm telling you what, there was some great blocking. Roosevelt Patterson had a guy 15 yards down the field on his back.
Oh, that's great. I'm glad to see Rosie's having a good ball game tonight against this group. And it's 2nd down and 9 right now for Alabama, and you don't like to be in those type situations, but in the last 3 snaps, Miami has really come after the Alabama running backs with heavy blitzes.
2nd and 9, Bama from the 23-yard line. Palmer in motion, rolling left is Barker behind Lassick, trying to get at him and tumble salting away. Barker running for his life forward to the 17, 18-yard line. One man having just a jump over the traffic trying to get at Jay Barker that time. It was Rowan Marley, who had just checked into the lineup. Marley, of course, the son of the legendary reggae singer Bob Marley. He just tumble-salted over people to try and get at Jay Barker.
He might have tripped over his tongue. Michael Barrow that time made the stop, and what a great football player Michael Barrow is. I promise you, he will hit you.
He is a senior. It was Lassick who really upended Marley in that play. Play clock at 9 seconds. Bama 3rd and 4 from the 17. 2 of 4 in third down conversions. Palmer in motion. Barker drops back under pressure. He fires to the near side. Complete. First down. Alabama to the 12-yard line. Greer made the stop on the catch by Alabama. And a nice grab by the Deuce to the 12.
You don't know how big that was on an out. Just a simple 5-6 yard out. He goes down and goes toward the sidelines, and Barker hit him with a strike. There's no way to defend that pass. First down, Alabama.
Greer was closing in a hurry, and again, he's the man who led the secondary in tackles with 69, but Palmer beat him to the outside. First and 10 from the 11. Lee in motion, far side. Backs in the eye. Houston ahead of Lassick. The give us to Lassick. He tries to get outside. Does. 10, 5, 4. He spins around on his feet to the 1-yard line. There's a flag on the play. There's a face mask, I believe, at the 4. As Lassick will be shy of the end zone by a yard. But again, there was a face mask, I believe, at the 4-yard line.
Let's wait and see. One thing for sure, there's 2 flags that went down. It was obviously that, I think, Eli. But what is important is that Alabama's running the football down Miami's throat, and they're doing it any way they want to. Either wide or inside. The officials are discussing it.
Jay Barker just walked away from the officials, and he was shaking his head. Now, there were 2 flags, and again, they came at totally different times, so one could ostensibly have been for a hold, one for a face mask.
That could be.
We'll have to wait and hear what Rogers Redding, the referee, says. Let's listen in.
We have a face mask foul against the white team, which will give it first down. We have a dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct against the red team, 15-yard penalty. Goal.
Well, we got the call straight that time, and an Alabama player is called for unsportsmanlike conduct.
And Gene Stallings is livid on the sideline beneath us. He is walking all the way down to the 18-yard line, barking at the official. And Jerry Duncan, maybe you had a better eyeball on that than we did.
Well, I totally agree with Coach Stallings about this. I never did see any kind of a personal foul against Alabama.
We've got the benefit of a TV replay here in the booth. Lassick turned it inside, got grabbed at the 5-yard line. That's Darren Smith on the face mask. Then Lassick lunges to put the ball across the end line.
Well, it could have been anything. He could have cursed the official.
Who knows? First and 15. First and 15. Bama working towards the end zone to our right. Pitch back here. Sherman Williams. He'll turn it inside to the 13-yard line. Lynch and Williams were the running backs that time, and Sherman turned it in. Jesse Armstead made the stop, and I think Gene Stallings pulled some of those running backs out, if for nothing else, for a moment, just to kind of cool them off and to find out what happened, as Lee and Curtis Brown now check back into the Alabama lineup.
Yeah, maybe Jerry can walk around and find out from some of the coaches what happened, but obviously somebody said something or something along that nature to put it back. But at any rate, it's second down and goal. The ball's at the 12.
Lee in motion to the near side. Backs are in the eye. The pitch back again. Williams, big hole up the middle. Sherman to the 5. Lunges forward to the 4. Big hole. Lynch sprung him initially, and then Roosevelt Patterson and John Stevenson were the men who further opened the hole. As Lynch and Williams leave, Martin Houston and Derek Lassick check back in.
On every snap, Casey Greer gets up slower every time.
You notice that, yeah?
He is really getting hammered by the Alabama front that time. They are really throwing some blocks. I don't think Miami expected anything like this to transpire at all.
9th play of the drive coming up. Palmer and Curtis Brown wide left. It's 3rd and goal from the 4. Here's the Deuce in motion to the near side. Pitch back. Lassick tucks it away. He is slammed down at the 7. The play will lose 3 yards. Mark Caesar, the senior from Newark, New Jersey, along with Michael Barrow, the man who turned it back. And here comes Michael Proctor to attempt another field goal for the Crimson Tide, who got their first 3 points on a 19-yard field goal. This one will be a 24-yard attempt. A 24-yard attempt. Proctor is perfect, 7 of 7 from this distance this year, with Johnny Howard on the snap, Jeff Wall on the hold, and they are virtually dead on between the hash marks. The kick on the way. It is up and good. And with 10:48 remaining Proctor is slow in getting up as he got drilled after the kick. It was Paul White, the left cornerback, who came in and gave him a pretty good ding. And Gene Stallings, Bama's coach, awfully upset on the sidelines, but nevertheless, Proctor walks off the field, and Bama is on top 6-3.
And also, little Jeff Wall, he went up to the official and is really complaining. He said, what about that? And Gene Stallings has absolutely gone bonkers on the sideline. He doesn't like that at all. A non-call, and the official is over talking to Stallings now, and we'll get a replay on that, I guess, or will we? At any rate, Coach Stallings did not like what transpired at all. We got a timeout on the field.
Again, we've got benefit of an instant replay up here, and it was Paul White who had blocked a field goal against Florida State, was the man who came in and hassled Proctor. 6-3 Bama leads, 10:48 to go, second quarter. This is the Alabama Sports Network. 10 minutes, 48 seconds remaining, second quarter, 6-3, Alabama leads Miami. Just watching Derek Oden trot out on the field to talk to referee Rogers Redding. Oden, one of the Bama captains, went into the end zone. Jerry, what's going on down there?
Well, I think this is not official, Eli. I have not talked to Derek about it, but they said that the penalty they called a while ago was for him spinning the football. After the face mask penalty, they said that Derek spun the football, and they penalized him for that. So, if you could do that, there ought to be a penalty after every play if you're going to penalize people for talking.
10:48 remaining. Opening half. 6-3 Alabama. That drive, 10 plays, 46 yards, culminating in that 24-yard field goal by Proctor. Took 4 minutes and 57 seconds off the clock.
Anytime you can keep the ball for 10 snaps, you're going to be doing good things, and that's what Alabama did that time. As a matter of fact, Alabama on every series, every possession has kept the ball at least 6 snaps, and Coach Stallings is still very upset with the Southwest Conference officials.
All right, now the kick from Proctor with Williams and Harris, the deep men. Williams to the far side, Harris to the near. Proctor, end over end. A boomer sends Williams again 2 yards deep. He's going to bring it out. He'll come up the middle. Angle right, gets around Sam Shade, closes on George Teague, stiffs arm him, and Teague puts him down at the 27-yard line. George Teague staying right with Williams that time, and a nice stop. You oftentimes don't see an all-conference man playing special teams like this, Jerry Duncan. George Teague's done that all season long.
Well, George Teague is such a special player. You want him on the field all the time, Eli. I'm surprised they don't have him on offense.
True, but on a play like that, you got to have a Teague or someone like him getting down on the kickoff coverage and stop Miami. And again, this time they got outside the 25 to the 28, and the defense is still doing a number on Gino Torretta.
With Bennett, the single setback. Wideouts, one each way. Bennett now walks up. He has to get the audible from Torretta. He'll move into the right wing slot. The throw is tipped by Alabama, incomplete. They were audibling at the line. They couldn't get it with all the noise by the 75,000 Alabama fans, and Curry, I believe, was the man who got his hand on the football to tip it away.
Well, he got his hands on the football tonight, but he got his hands on Gino Torretta, I'll tell you that. He really got to Torretta, and Torretta could not throw the football, and as a consequence, it went straight down almost. I guess Curry slapped it away.
Alabama had basically 10 men up on the line of scrimmage that time. On a 2nd and 10 now, or rather, the Hurricanes did. 2nd and 10, football at the 28-yard line. Bama now again creeps all but a couple of men up on the line from the far hash mark. And out of the shotgun, Torretta steps back. He'll fake once. He has an opening. He's going to run. He is going to head out to the 35, 40, and slide to safety at the 43-yard line. Donnelly, along with Shade, finally made the touch as Torretta, who again has rushed for only 95 yards to the positive this year, found the big hole, and very honestly, I could have run through that one.
Well, what happened was the Alabama defense does not expect Torretta to try to run the football at all, and as a consequence, everybody backed up, and when they did, he spun the football, and that's the call.
Derek Lassick is what Doug was talking about. We just saw the replay from another angle here. Lassick did spin the football when he came up shy of the end zone on that earlier play. 1st and 10 Miami from their own 43. Coretta again audibles. Play at 2 seconds. 1. Hand off to Bennett. Bennett breaks a tackle. He is forward to the 47-yard line and put down there by the swarming Alabama defense led by Teague and Gaston. Donnell Bennett, who has started 8 games this year and is only a sophomore out of Fort Lauderdale, very strong and with good soft hands. He is a fine pass catcher as well as the leading rusher on this Miami football team.
Miami's still trying to keep Alabama's defense honest with the handoff, the draw, the trap. But their main strength is Gino Toretta throwing the football, and Alabama is aware of that, and that's what they're playing for.
Lamar Thomas and Jonathan Harris go wide to the right side. 2nd and 4 Hurricanes. Again, Toretta will audible as he brings everybody in. Play clock expires. 5-yard penalty upcoming for delay of game against the Miami Hurricanes. They tried to get timeout, and they did. They will give them the timeout just half a tick before the play clock went to 0. So they will use their 3rd timeout, the Hurricanes will, with 9:20 remaining in the opening half. It's a 6-3 Alabama lead. We'll be right back. Jerry Duncan joining us on the sidelines as he looks on with everybody else as Alabama, number 1, has been changing the defensive looks as you brought out before, Jerry. But Miami seems totally unprepared, if nothing else, than for hand signals to try and audible, very much like Alabama has in place when they go to a stadium like Neyland Stadium in Knoxville.
Well, we talked earlier, Eli, you asked me about the mental part of the game. It's getting mental now because we even had a 10-man line a minute ago, and I guarantee you Miami never thought they'd see a 10-man front against Alabama.
Absolutely.
And, of course, they're just, if you watch the free safety and if you watch Donnelly, the way they move around, they're faking a blitz. They're just giving them all kinds of different looks. And of course, the crowd has gotten into it. They see exactly what's happening.
Elsewhere, Florida State 20, Nebraska nothing. Stanford beat Penn State 24-3. Michigan 38, Washington 31 a final. That one from the Orange Bowl, or rather from the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. Here now is 2nd and 4 for the Hurricanes. Bama with 6 defensive backs. Football at their own 49-yard line. 9:19 to go. Opening half. 6-3. The Tide on top. Toretta from the near hash mark. Fumbles the football. Falls on it. Covers it himself. He covers it himself as he mishandled with Terrell Green, his center, and again pushing and shoving Bell, Coleman Bell, the wideout, in the face of Eric Curry. Coleman Bell's a fine football player, but not all that bright at 6'2", 225 to take on 6'7", 255 Eric Curry. And Etheridge comes over, one of the left tackles, Carlos Etheridge, to just finally pull Coleman Bell away.
Also, the little bickering going on with Antonio London as well, but that was a big play. Gino Toretta mishandled the snap. Alabama on him immediately. He fell on it himself. I'm telling you, he cannot figure out this Alabama defense.
The Hurricanes 2 of 5 and 3rd down conversions. Looking at a 3rd and 9 now from their own 44. Toretta from the shotgun. Steps back, fires, picked off. Alabama, Sam Shade intercepts it. He's back to the 50, to the 45. He's got blockers. He's to the 40, 35, 33-yard line. Sam Shade with his 3rd interception of the year. That is only the 8th time that Toretta has been picked off this season. A 33-yard run back, and Alabama back in business.
Toretta did not know what Alabama was doing defensively that time, and without a blitz, they put so much pressure on him up with the guys up front that he overthrew the intended receiver, or didn't get it to the intended receiver, intercepted by Sam Shade. Great defensive play. This is the best defense I have seen at Alabama. I often said that 79 group was a great defensive squad, but this one is just absolutely unbelievable.
Sam Shade from Birmingham's Winona High School with his 3rd pick of the year. Now it's 1st and 10 Bama from the 31 of the Hurricanes. The give to Lassick. Big hole up the middle. Has some red crimson confetti strewn down from the skyward portion of this arena. Inside the 30 to the 28-yard line. A pickup of 3 on the play for the Crimson Tide. Jerry Duncan, you're right alongside Gene Stallings as he paces pushes there. The man hasn't stopped walking all season.
No, he won't stop either. Great pressure on the Alabama defensive front that time. That's what caused the interception, was the pressure.
2nd and 7, Bama. Football at the 27 of the Canes. Lee in motion to the far side. Pitch back, Lassick opens a hole to the 20. He's got blockers 15, 10, 5-yard line, forward to the 3-yard line. Derek Lassick, off a block of Roosevelt Patterson, really squeaked through a hole that seemingly wasn't there. And finally, Jesse Armstead helps put him down after a 25-yard gainer.
Derek Lassick is ripping to shreds the Miami defense, and I'm talking about blocking like you've never seen before. It was Martin Houston knocking 2 down. Roosevelt Patterson knocked 1 down, got up, and knocked another one down.
Derek Lassick, 15 carries, 106 yards. 1st and goal, Bama from the 3. Craig Harris in motion. Give to Lassick, angling to the right side. Forward to the 1-yard line. Forward to the 1-yard line. Darren Crine made the stop on Derek Lassick, who averaged 5.1 per carry coming in. He's well over that here this evening.
That time on the pitch back to Derek Lassick, running the right side, they were attacking the short side of the field, that is to the Alabama right, and he tried to cut it into the end zone. No good. It is 2nd down and 1.5 now for the goal.
6:49 to go, opening half of play. Harris in motion. Give to Lassick. He is stopped at the line of scrimmage. Over top that time came the middle of the linebacking core. Darren Smith made the initial hit, and that time Lassick was stymied for no gain.
Miami is playing it as though they know Alabama is not about to try to throw the football, so they got everybody at the line of scrimmage. And Lassick looked like he might be trying to jump over the line, but if he's going to do that, he's going to have to really get some steam up and get way up in the air. Lassick comes out.
This is the 6th time this year that Lassick has rushed for better than 100 yards. He comes out as Martin Houston is now joined by Sherman Williams. 3rd and goal from the 2. Harris in motion. The give to Sherman. Cuts right into the end zone. Touchdown, Alabama. Sherman Williams on a great change of direction. As he was angling left, saw the hole open. He cut back right. And with 6:09 to go in the opening half, it is Alabama 12, the Hurricanes 3. It is pandemonium from the Alabama fans here at the Louisiana Superdome.
Well, everything's at stake, and everybody knows what's at stake. It's number 1. You don't have to wait and see what the voters are going to do. You know what they're going to do. The winner of this ball game is the national champion.
The extra point now to be attempted by Michael Proctor. Sherman Williams, his 9th touchdown of the year. Now with Johnny Howard snapping and Jeff Hold handling the hold. Here is the kick. It is up. It is good. So Howard and Wall combined with the kick by Proctor, and with 6:09 to go, a little skirmish again on the field at the 10, but Bama has a 10-point lead, 13-3, with 6:09 remaining in this opening half. And Jerry Duncan, Alabama, whenever you rush like the Tide has for 208 yards per ball game, facing a defense that allows only 101, you'd normally assume the defense would stop them. But Alabama has not been stopped here tonight.
The only stopping, Eli, that Alabama has had tonight, Alabama stopped themselves with 2 pass interceptions. And Miami's offense, meanwhile, the vaunted offense of Miami that had been averaging close to 40 points a game, has really had nothing but trouble against the Alabama defense. They cannot figure it out.
The Crimson Tide is 6-0 this year when a running back has at least 100 yards on the ground. And Bama has won 20 consecutive games when a back has rushed for 100 yards in a game.
Eli.
Right now, Derek Lassick is there, and he's not even at halftime.
Also, you might point out that Alabama is 6-0 when a back didn't rush for 100 yards this year, too.
Very true, but nevertheless, it sounded good. It sounded good. We are in New Orleans, the Big Easy, where it's not coming easy tonight, but it's getting there. 13-3 Bama. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Alabama Sports Network. Kevin Williams and Jonathan Harris are the deep men for the Hurricanes. as Sherman Williams savors the emotion of his ninth touchdown run of the year. The Crimson Tide on top 13-3. The winner is the national champion. That's very simply put. The winner of this game is number 1. For Alabama, they try for their 12th national championship. Here comes Michael Proctor, set to kick it away.
I'll tell you what, Eli, Michael has been doing very well tonight kicking off. He's been getting it to at least the goal line and the last kickoff into the end zone, but Miami decides to run it out because of the speed of Kevin Williams.
Williams is a good one. He has fielded them all in the end zone, as Doug says. Here again, end over end. This one will be shorter.
Yep.
Williams at the 7. Up the right side with blocking to the 20. Cuts right, gets hit, breaks a tackle. He's forward and then finally wrestled out of bounds to the 32-yard line. It was Tommy Johnson there, along with Will Brown, putting the stop on Kevin Williams, who broke a couple of tackles to bring it out across the 30-yard line. And now Gino Torretta comes out clapping his hands as he heads to the Miami huddle and says, all right, let's try it again. Torretta, the senior from Panola, California, who has done it all, is 6 of 14 tonight for 68 yards. The Heisman Trophy winner. Stephen McGuire, the setback. 3 wideouts left. 1st and 10 from their own 31, working off the far hash mark and going right to left. Torretta, the give to McGuire. Delay move. He breaks forward to the 34-yard line. A pickup of 3 before John Copeland puts the little touch on him for the stop.
With the passes that we've seen in the ball game today, those that Alabama has thrown and Miami, this is a slow-moving ball game. We may be here a while this evening because Gino Torretta has no qualms about putting the ball in the air 50-plus times if need be.
If Bama wins the national title, doesn't matter if you're here till 3 in the morning.
You got that right.
7 defensive backs and everybody up on the line of scrimmage for Bama. 2nd and 6 at the 35. Torretta to audible. Play clock at 5. He'll give to the single setback, and the play is smothered by George Teague. At the 33, it loses 2 yards as Bama had every single body on the line of scrimmage, Jerry, and again, they can't adjust, or at least are having trouble doing so.
I think Torretta that time called that play, Eli, at the line of scrimmage because everybody was bunched up, and if he felt like if they could break the original line of scrimmage, of course, they would have gone 60 yards, but that didn't happen.
It looks as though Mario Cristobal, the Big East all-right tackle, is hurt. He is the man down.
But he's been injured all year long.
Yes, he has. He missed the first 3 games with a knee injury, was the only returning starter from last year's offensive line. Mario Cristobal being helped up to a sitting position now by the Hurricane trainers with 5:09 remaining in this, the opening half of play. Alabama 13, Miami 3. Cristobal now being helped to his feet. A lot of folks forget the Hurricanes are in the Big East. They hear us talking about the Big East and think basketball. Miami, of course, a member of the Big East Conference, though well removed geographically from the other teams in that division.
You know, we've still got a lot of football left to go. We got 5 minutes and a few seconds left to go in the first half here. But I'll tell you, this Alabama game plan is absolutely mind-boggling, both offensively and defensively. It's been a thing of beauty thus far, and if Alabama can continue to play at this level of intensity, this ball game might be handing Alabama their first national championship since '79. But again, there's a long way to go.
It looks as though it is a recurrence of a knee injury for Mario Cristobal. He is backed up by Zev Lumelski, who'll check in now, a sophomore from Miami Beach. So they go from a senior right tackle to a sophomore right tackle who has limited experience and is facing that vaunted Alabama defensive front. That could be a major story to watch because the defensive front now, the offensive line for the Canes will have 3 seniors and 2 sophomores. The center, Terrell Green, is a sophomore, and now Zev Lumelski will check in.
I'll tell you that the Miami offense, looking at Alabama, put 11 men up on the line. They spread everybody out. They send 3 wide guys out to one side, 1 guy out to the other side. Alabama is mano-mano.
7 defensive backs on a 3rd and 7 for the Hurricanes from their own 34. Here is quarterback Torretta working out of the shotgun from the far hash mark. He gets the snap, steps back, fires low, incomplete. He was looking for the tailback, Jonathan Harris, and man-to-man coverage for the Crimson Tide against Harris, normally a tailback by trade.
Well, that's what I say. When you put that many guys up front, you're going mano-mano. You're man-to-man, and that's what Alabama did that time, and that is something that Miami did not believe Alabama would even try to do, much less do it. It's 4th down. They got to kick it away to the deuce.
Paul Snyder has had punts of 44 and 41 yards here in the opening half. Under pressure, he gets it away. End over end to David Palmer at his own 22-yard line. Looks at the situation, doesn't like it. He's going down at the 20. So the deuce fields it, backed up about 1.5 yards, and quickly took the knee. And Bama has it 1st and 10 from their own 20.
Well, that time David really didn't have a chance to return the punt because Alabama had the pressure on the kicker that time. They did not have the return on. Usually in a situation like that, David would call for the fair catch, but I guess he thought he might take a look at it and see if he could spot something. If not, he'd go down, and that's what happened. And Bama's offense is back in business again.
So David Palmer, the words fair catch are almost like a curse. He doesn't like to utter those.
I understand.
1st and 10, Bama from their own 20. Here's the pitch back. On the give, Chris Anderson trying to work free to the right side. He'll gain 1.5 yards, maybe 2, as he's ripped down to the floor by the Hurricane defense. Making the stop that time for Miami, Casey Greer, the strong safety.
And this is something that the Miami defense, they've got to start getting a little weary. They've been on the field most of this first half, and they've been on the field working against a team that's running on them, and that tends to weigh out even a little more.
2nd and 8, Bama from their own 23-yard line. The give to the up man this time as Martin Houston will carry bodies forward. And he'll take it out across the 25 to about the 27-yard line. Tarrant Lynch, correct myself, not Houston. He was in with Darren Crine and Mark Cesar making the stop. Now Prince Wimbley leaves with Curtis Brown checking in.
You know, when you say Karen makes the stop along with Cesar, those are the front men up front. They're the defensive linemen. And they made the stop 5-6 yards downfield. That does not bode well for your defense.
Chris Anderson, the single setback on a 3rd and 3. On the delay, give to him. He's out to the 27-yard line. Maybe a loss of 1 yard on that play before Jesse Armstead stacks him up. And Alabama will have to punt for the very first time tonight.
Exactly, and Alabama will be kicking from their own...
Probably their own 20 or so when Deal probably puts it in the air.
Right, and Miami could wind up with good field position, and we hope that Brian isn't thinking back to what happened in that Florida game a couple of weeks ago.
Brian Deal, 64 punts this year, averaging 38.2 yards. No pressure. He'll get this one away in a good one. Kevin Williams lets it bounce. It takes a Bama bounce inside the 30. Another big Bama bounce inside the 20 to the 19, 18, 17. It rolls to the 16 to the 15-yard line. Thank you, Brian Deal, and a little bit of an assist to the carpet here at the Dome. It will be a 57-yard punt, 1 yard shy of the longest one of the year. He had a 58-yarder against Tennessee, but he'll take that 57-yarder right there, and it really backs up the Hurricanes to their own 15, as everybody expected a relatively good field position coming up.
You'd have to think that with Alabama kicking from about their own 20-yard line, or at least Brian was kicking from there, and getting the good bounce puts them back at their own 16. It'll be 1st and 10 from there, and the Alabama defense back out on the field again.
The Hurricanes sending 3 men wide left on a 1st and 10 from their own 16. Toretta from the shotgun steps back to his own 5, fires a strike off at an intended receiver, deflected away, incomplete. Tommy Johnson was the man there who was really covering the intended receiver, Jonathan Harris. Big play by Tommy Johnson out of Niceville, Florida, who'd love to do well against his home state team. Jerry?
You don't know how close that was to being intercepted, Eli. I mean, it was very, very close.
That's what I was about to say. Hit him right in the chest. He was really going after it. Excellent move, what you call breaking to the ball by Tony Johnson that time, and it falls incomplete.
Bama with a 7-minute edge in time of possession. 2nd and 10 Canes from their own 16. Far hash mark out of the shotgun. Toretta, quick drop and a fire out to the 20, complete to Thomas. The flanker, Lamar Thomas, on the quick curl-in right there. One of those plays that really is so very tough to defend.
Well, you can't really defend him, and a guy like Thomas, he's capable of catching a ball like that and really breaking for some big yardage. But so far today, the Alabama defense has really been on the spot. When they make the completion, they're slammed to the ground almost immediately. It is another big third down for Gino Torretta and the Ibises.
3rd and 6 now. Football at their own 20-yard line. Torretta out of the shotgun. He'll drop back, set, fire, complete to the 30-yard line, to the 27 officially, to Darrell Spencer. It'll be good enough for a first down for the Canes. Those two passes, the first ones that Torretta has completed since about 4 minutes gone in the opening quarter of play. That's how effective Bama has been. Now they work quickly with no huddle on a 1st and 10 for the 28. 7 defensive backs for Bama. 3 wideouts left. Somebody jumps. Flag on the play, and the football is quickly covered up at the 28-yard line on the snap. But flags flying aplenty.
It looked like Jonathan Harris that time took off before the snap of the ball, so we're going to get the call from the official.
Dead ball foul. False start.
Procedure call against the Hurricanes.
5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Again, Harris took off too soon. Illegal procedure. We're less than a minute. No, we're less than 2 minutes to go in the first half with Bama leading 13-3. And Miami really having trouble getting their offense on track tonight due to this tenacious Alabama defense.
1st and 15 for the Hurricanes from their own 23-yard line. 1:35 to go, opening half. 3 wideouts left, 1 right, no backs behind Torretta, who's in the shotgun. From the far hash mark, Torretta fires. It's complete, bobbled, but taken by Chris Jones. He's across the 30 and snowed there at about the 31-yard line. Tommy Johnson and Lemansky Hall led the attack on Chris Jones, the sophomore who is the number 7 receiver on this ball club. So they're looking a little deeper now, the Hurricanes are.
Alabama, though, dropping back into zone now. They're giving them up underneath. They just don't want Torretta to hit with the big bomb, which he's capable of doing.
Between the hash marks, 2nd and 6, Hurricanes from their own 32. Torretta drops back, fires, complete. It's to the 45, 47-yard line. A strike that time to the tight end, Kevin Kirkheide. First time we've seen Kirkheide in the ball game. He is the 12th favorite receiver for Torretta. That was only the 4th pass he has caught all year. Everett Brown now in as Alabama changes the look on the defensive front for just a bit. Everett Brown, the sophomore from Montgomery Jeff Davis High School. 1st and 10, Canes in their own 46. Torretta under pressure, scrambles with flags on the play. He is at the 50. It looked as though Eric Curry was in a little bit before the snap. We'll have to wait and see if the officials call it that way. I believe they will.
Yeah, that's right. Curry that time trying to anticipate the snap. Jumped a little too soon.
And Alabama.
Therefore, the flags fell, and Miami will benefit with a 5-yard step-off, so it'll be 1st and 5. But the clock ticked off a few seconds.
43 seconds remaining in this opening half of play.
We have offside on the defense. 5-yard penalty.
We had trouble picking up the official.
That was Rogers Redding, the referee out of the Southwest Conference, who did say the offside against the defense. Working their 2-minute drill, if you will, for the Hurricanes. 41 seconds to go in the half. 1st and 5, Canes from their own 49-yard line. Here Torretta out of the shotgun, steps back under pressure. He unloads quickly. It's complete out to the 45-yard line and out of bounds. Lamar Thomas, the flanker, with a reception there, and he got out of bounds to stop the clock. Remember, the Hurricanes are out of timeouts. They used all 3 earlier when Torretta was trying to decipher the Alabama defense. They cannot stop the clock other than grounding it incomplete or running out of bounds.
That's what they did that time, just get the completed pass, pick up a first down. Alabama's just backing up. They're playing a deep drop zone, and they're allowing the completions underneath. They don't want the big strike, and Miami's got 27 seconds left to do something.
Larry Jones, a single setback alongside Torretta, who's in the shotgun. 1st and 10 from the Alabama 43. Torretta, he'll throw the long one down the near side with coverage by Willie Gaston. The ball is in the air. It is knocked down to the ground. Incomplete. Looking for Lamar Thomas. Willie Gaston was there on the tight coverage against the senior flanker. And Thomas is hurt. Thomas is down at the 1-yard line, grasping his left leg, which is extended out in front of him. And he is hurt. The number 2 receiver for the Hurricanes in man-to-man coverage with Willie Gaston.
Willie Gaston on him that time, and the Alabama defender, in this case Willie Gaston, I'll guarantee he knew exactly what was coming when he broke to the corner. It was going to be the timing pass. He was going to put it up. And as you'll recall, Lamar Thomas is an exceptional leaper. He can really jump. He's got a 36-inch vertical leap, and they thought he could out-jump the Alabama defender. He couldn't. And as a consequence, Gaston was there to slap it away, and it is now 19 seconds to go, and as soon as Thomas gets off the field, play will resume.
For a man who was injured seconds ago, he's had the bounce-back qualities of youth. Would he be faking an injury since there are no timeouts so as to stop the clock? Who knows? 19 seconds remaining. It was incomplete in any event.
Yeah, I was about to say, the clock stopped anyway. I think he was suffering from a cramp in his left thigh. That's what he's doing. When they start pushing your toe forward, that's usually cramp.
A little warmish in the Superdome tonight. 2nd and 10 Canes from the Alabama 43-yard line with one wide out either way from the shotgun Torretta. He'll fire it long, looking down the middle. There's a man there. It's loose. It is knocked away by Alabama. Great play by the Crimson Tide's Antonio Langham as Jonathan Harris had broken free. He was there and Kevin Williams were there, and they elected to go long, and Langham was right there on the big stop. He had the man Williams covered neatly.
You're talking about closing on the ball. The ball is in the air, and Antonio Langham turned up his speed about 4 steps and went high in the air and slapped the ball away as it fell incomplete as they were trying to catch the speedster Kevin Williams, and it is 3rd and 10 with 13 seconds to go.
Williams wide to the right side with 2 men wide left and a single setback. Torretta out of the shotgun, 3rd and 10. 12 seconds to go in the half. Torretta steps back. He'll fire a strike. It is complete to the 35, rather the 25-yard line. Complete to Lamar Thomas, the flanker. The change will stop the clock here as they move the change. 5 seconds to go in the opening half of play. Bama on top 13-3. One would assume Torretta will just take the snap and then down the football. The clock will start on the snap. Alabama changing substitutions on the defensive side of the ball.
He's already said he's going to slam the ball down as soon as he gets the snap.
And he does just that. The clock counts all the way down to 1 second, but that is still enough time for a field goal attempt by the Miami Hurricanes.
That is really something, you know. The Miami took this ball at their own 16. Alabama goes into the drop zone. They move it down the field into field goal position, and Pruitt comes into the ball game now, and he is a capable kicker from this range.
A 43-yard attempt. He had a long one of 49 earlier. And now Bama takes timeout. Alabama will call timeout with 1 second remaining here in this opening half to let young Dane Pruitt think this one over. The redshirt freshman from Birmingham's Hewitt-Trussville High School, who elected to come to Miami and replace Carlos Huerta. He missed a couple of big field goals earlier this year, 2 against Florida State, 1 against Arizona, but in a big one here earlier in this ball game in which Bama leads 13-3. Of course, this game, not quite the culmination of bowl season. There's still another one to be played, but we'll have all the updates, I assume. Jim Szoke coming up at the half.
You know, one of the facts of all the bowls that have been played so far this year is that the Southeastern Conference, with 6 teams in bowl games, 4 have already won, 2 left this one, and of course Mississippi State tomorrow night in the Peach Bowl over in Atlanta, Georgia.
Dane Pruitt will be attempting a 43-yard field goal. Jim Szoke is in the Dixie Crystal Studios. Any upsets in the making outside of this one here?
No.
No. Alabama takes another timeout. The Tide is going to make them think about it, Jerry.
They really put the ice.
They're playing a little mind game, Eli.
They are.
Yes, they really are. Pruitt is from Hewitt-Trussville High School, or from Trussville, and where he went to Hewitt-Trussville High School and played with Jay Barker at Trussville. He was the kicker there, although he was a year behind Jay Barker, but they're still very, very good friends. And when play is resumed, it will be Pruitt attempting a 43-yarder. He's capable of making this. He was not offered a scholarship at Alabama or Auburn, and Miami took him, and he is enjoying himself there. He missed his first 3 attempts this year, but he finally settled down, and he's been doing a steady yeoman's job for the Hurricanes. But now Alabama's trying to really put the ice on him, Eli.
From this distance, Pruitt is 4 of 6 this year. The snapper is Tom Patterson. The holder is the punter, Paul Snyder. From the near hash mark, a 43-yard field goal to end the first half. Pruitt waits. They wait. The snap there. The spot is good. The kick on the way. End over end. It sails, and it is good. So the half ends on a 43-yard field goal by Dane Pruitt. And Alabama will take a 13-6 lead into the locker room as the Crimson Tide watch Toretta work that 2-minute offense to perfection. So that's the half. Alabama on top 13-6. Lots coming up at halftime. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome again to the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, Louisiana, where Alabama at halftime leads the Miami Hurricanes, the top-ranked team in the country, 13-6. And this ball game, the winner takes all the marbles. We'll be back in just a second to chat with Alabama's Director of Athletics, Cecil Hootie Ingram. But right now, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Alabama Sports Network. As the $1 Million Band performs before the sold-out house here at the Superdome in Louisiana, 77,400 plus, it is indeed a pleasure to welcome back to the Alabama Network the athletic director, Hootie Ingram. Hootie, you got to be proud not only of the way the team is playing, but the University of Alabama representing the Southeastern Conference here in the Sugar Bowl.
Well, that's true, Doug. We've got a great league. The league did something innovative this year and splitting into divisions and playing a championship game. And we've already had 4 teams win games in earlier bowl games. We're 4-0, and we're 4.5-0 right now. And Mississippi State plays North Carolina tomorrow night. So the league has had a great year, and really, Doug, I think the league is going to be better next year than it was this year.
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more. It's just tremendous. Now, how about now a game like this for an Alabama or the entire Southeastern Conference, really, with 6 members in bowl games, got to help the overall recruiting situation for everybody. It's got to be great for the young kids coming out of high school.
Well, I think, the game that we had against Florida for the championship, ABC had one of their top ratings of the year for college football, and a lot of people saw SEC football then, and this game here, this is a classic game. It's not only good for our conference, this game is good for college football across the country. I mean, it's a great spectacle. It's unbelievable what goes in putting this thing together, all the people involved, and it is a great football game, Doug. I think everybody will agree.
There's no doubt about that, but there is one thing it's not good for, and that's my heart.
Well, it's tough. I tell you, every play you're on edge.
It really is. How about the athletic department at the University of Alabama? Things, we don't care about what transpired before, but I know since Hootie Ingram took over the AD position, it has been nothing but straight up for the athletic department at Alabama. Could you sort of give us a state of the athletic department address right here now?
Well, Doug, really, we got a lot of good people. We got a great university. I think, first of all, one of our goals when I first came here was to work on our academic program. And we got such great support from Dr. Jim Tate, who's the academic vice president and the provost at the university. What he's done for our program and giving the leadership for our counseling program for all our athletes is really showing up now in their academic work. We're proud of that. And the teams are improving. The teams that are down have recruited well, and we're in good shape financially. We've had great attendance in football, and basketball revenue's been good. So right now everything's going pretty good, Doug. It would be nice to have this national championship to help it go a little bit better.
Well, regardless of what happens in the second half, the team will be returning tonight. What are the travel plans, incidentally?
Well, our players, they've got a lot of family down here and friends, and our players will be leaving on their own. Probably most of them won't go back to Lamar. figure that, and they'll be traveling on their own, getting back. They got a few more days break until they get back for second semester. So that's kind of what they got planned right now.
Well, I guess you're being an ex-coach in the second half. You got to say if Alabama can continue to do what they've been doing and maintain the intensity, we will have that national championship.
Well, Doug, I think that's really important. Obviously, the early part of the third quarter is always a key period of time. I felt like the offense did a good job of running at them. We had them their defensive players kind of taking a knee down after a while on that last drive, and we had them going. If we get the ball back in the third quarter, if we can offensively stick it to them again and use some time off that clock and wear them down a little bit more, then our defense has done a great job of keeping them off balance, Doug, and I'm sure they'll come back to counter what we did the first half, and I'm also sure that we'll have some new defensive wrinkles that we can prevent them from countering what we do.
Well, you can really see a chess game going on. Hootie, this is the last game of the year, and I want to say what a pleasure it is to work with you in the athletic department of the University of Alabama, and I'm sure I speak for all of us involved with the Alabama Sports Network. It is a delight, and you're a great guy to work for.
Well, thank you, Doug, and you and Eli and Tom and all the group here have been great part of the University of Alabama. Kirkwood and Coast Communications with the Alabama Sports Network has been really a great thing for the University of Alabama, not just through the radio, but through the many other areas that we do. Our marketing program is hitting the sky's the limit right now. We're going to break a lot of records in that this year. So we're proud of the whole deal, and we thank all of you all for the great work you've done for us.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for being with us. Now let's get back to nail-biting in the second half.
Okay, Doug.
That's Cecil Hootie Ingram, the athletic director at the University of Alabama. We'll be back with more halftime after this break on the Alabama Sports Network. The Louisiana Superdome, where it's halftime, and Alabama leads Miami by the score of 13-6 with one half of football remaining to be played. And we'll take a look at the first half statistics in just a moment. Suffice it to say, I'll give you one tidbit. Alabama has held the ball 16 minutes and 55 seconds to 13 minutes and 5 for Miami, and that is something that the Miami Hurricanes did not think they would see in this ball game today. We'll be back, and we'll be chatting with Jerry Duncan on the Alabama sideline as the captains have already returned, so we will be right back. It's halftime at the Superdome in Louisiana. Alabama leads Miami 13-3 at halftime. That's the biggest lead Miami has given up this year. They were down 7-0 at halftime at FSU. And in the first down department, Alabama with 8, Miami with 7. Total yardage, Alabama has accumulated 164 yards, the majority on the ground, 30 attempts for 152 yards. Miami, meanwhile, 6 yards on the ground. In the air, 127. Total yardage, 133. And the top ground gainer for Alabama, Derek Lassick, with 25 carries for 106 yards, his longest a 25-yard jaunt. Terrence Lynch has picked up 17 yards this evening. For Miami, Toretta in the passing department has thrown it 25 times, completed 12, had 1 intercepted. And for Alabama, Jay Barker's thrown it 8 times, completed 2, but he also threw 2 interceptions. Alabama leads at halftime 13-6 here in the Superdome. Across the way, Jerry Duncan, right in front of us, Jerry Duncan. Jerry, what is the feeling as the second half is about to get underway?
Well, I would have felt a lot better, Doug, if we had blocked that field goal that they made right there at the end. But you got to be, if you're Alabama, you got to be happy. I don't think anybody expected us to run the football like we have. And you certainly, we talk about all these running backs, but we certainly need to be giving Matt Hammond, George Wilson, Toby Shields, John Stevenson, Roosevelt Patterson a lot of credit. On the defensive side of the football, it's just been a real mind game. Like you said, a chess game. They've been playing each other, and it'll be interesting to see what Miami comes up with the second half to combat what we did the first half, and then what defensive changes Brother Oliver comes up with.
Yeah, absolutely correct. All right, as you'll recall, to start the ball game, Alabama won the toss and elected to defer. So to start the second half, the Tide will receive the kickoff, and Miami is preparing to kick it. And once again, here's Eli Gold.
All right, Doug, thank you. Dane Pruitt about to kick it away to the trio of Alabama deep men standing back into their own goal line. They'll kick towards the right side where Sherman Williams fields it at the goal line to the 5-10. Up the right side, 15-20. Is to the 20 and no further as he is snowed under there. Alabama leading 13-6 when the Tide led 13-3. That was the biggest lead anybody has had against Miami all year. They had never trailed by more than 7 points when Florida State led them 7-0. Alabama's 10-point lead earlier in the half was the largest any school has had against the Hurricanes this season. All right, Jay Barker at quarterback for the Crimson Tide. Martin Houston and Derek Lassick are the men behind him. They will be in the eye with David Palmer wide to the far side. To the near side, Prince Wimbley, 1st and 10, Bama from the 20. In motion, Lassick. He's got pressure, Barker does, and loads to Wimbley. Prince to the 20, finds a hole, forward to the 26-yard line. Jesse Armstead was the man to lead the defensive attack against Alabama. I'd like to say hello to Daniel Almond. He is the 5-year-old son of Kevin and Leslie Almond. Kevin, of course, the director of academics for the athletes at the University of Alabama. Daniel, who's 5 years old, had an emergency appendectomy on Tuesday night. Daniel, hope you're feeling okay. Look forward to seeing you out here real soon. 2nd and 5 for Alabama. Football at their own 25-yard line from the near hash mark. In motion, Kevin Lee to the far side. The backs are split behind Barker. Jay on the give to Lassick off the block of Martin Houston out to the 27. Michael Barrow, the middle linebacker from Homestead, Florida. A Butkus Award finalist and a first-team All-America. He will be first-team All-Pro as soon as he makes it to the NFL. He was there to make the stop.
Big play that time by Miami, stopping Alabama probably as well as they have in the ball game on the run. And as Hootie Ingram pointed out at the halftime, the first 4 or 5 minutes of the first half means an awful lot.
Derek Lassick now. Step back. In motion, Palmer. 4 of 8 is Bama in 3rd downs. Here Barker drops. He'll look to air it out. There's nobody there. On the far side, Palmer was held, and there was no flag. And the football flew about 15 yards past where anyone was as the deuce was held up at around the 35 or the 38-yard line. Alabama's going to have to punt it away. It was Paul White who was all over David Palmer, bumping and holding him. But White, the junior from Tampa, could not and did not draw the flag. Brian Deal, for the second time today, will punt. He had that long 56-yarder, you'll remember earlier, that took the skip off the carpet. Kevin Williams, the deep man, they'll set up a return here. Williams sent back to his own 30-yard line. Here comes Bama to try and cover. Williams gets to the near side, and he is finally run out of bounds at around the 40-yard line. Tony Johnson was down there quickly, but he got blocked out of the way, and finally the run out by the Crimson Tide. So the Hurricanes now, for the first time here in the second half, going to work. 1st and 10 from their own 27-yard line.
This is by far the best field position that Miami has started a drive with, except on their 3rd possession of the first half at the Alabama 39. This is at their own 40, and here they come.
1st and 10 from that point for Gino Toretta, the quarterback. He is under center now with the single setback. Donnell Bennett. Wide outs, 2 to the left side, 1 to the right side. Toretta under center. A lot of crowd noise in the Bama faithful as Toretta fires. Intercepted by Johnson. Intercepted to the 40, 35, 30, 25. Wrestled down to the 20-yard line. Tommy Johnson, his 3rd interception of the year. It was intended for Kevin Williams, but Tommy Johnson intercepts Gino Toretta, and Bama has the football inside the 20-yard line. 1st and 10, leading 13-6.
That time, Tommy Johnson read the pass all the way. He played off once. I don't think Toretta really even saw it. Once the ball was thrown, Johnson then moved in front of the intended receiver, Kevin Williams, and Williams finally dragged him down right around the 20-yard line. Big break for Alabama defensively.
Gino Toretta on the bench now, having thrown yet another interception. 1st and 10 Bama from the Hurricane 20. Going at the end zone to our left. The pitch back here is to Derek Lassick. Lassick is spun down at the original line of scrimmage. Darren Crine, the junior defensive end out of Aurora, Colorado. was there to make the stop. He led all defensive linemen with tackles this year, did Darren Crine.
Excellent defensive call by Miami that time, because they seemed to have read the play all the way, and they were in a position of Jay Barker is all of a sudden taking a timeout, and he takes his, I'll tell you, these officials, I don't comment on officiating of a ball game. I just don't. But if I did, I would be doing it now, because he stood right in front of the guy's face and tried to get a timeout called, and he just stared at him. What does it take?
Well, timeout taken by the Crimson Tide, one of the 3 that they have here in the second half. Bama, though, trying to knock it on in with a 2nd and 10 from the Hurricane 20. When we come back after this from our local stations on the Alabama Sports Network. Just underway in the second half. 12:40 remaining, third quarter. Alabama leading 13-6, and after a Tommy Johnson interception, the second of the night off Gino Torretta, Alabama will have the football 2nd and 10, but they have used a timeout, and Jerry Duncan, while Miami used them quickly in the opening half, they're a little more valuable here in the second half.
Oh, yeah, and Tommy Johnson from Niceville, Florida, doesn't you know that makes people down in Niceville feel good, Eli? Look for Alabama to come back with a tall sweep here to the right side. Dusky's been did some good blocks on his man over there, so look for this play to come to the right.
All right, that'll be, if it goes to the right, actually, and the ball is about in the middle, so one side is just as advantageous as the other as far as room is concerned. But the clock is stopped with 12:40, and what a big play that interception was by Tony Johnson to set the ball up at the 21-yard line.
2nd and 10, Alabama football at the Miami 20-yard line. The red area, the tough yardage for the Crimson Tide. The backs are in the eye behind Jay Barker now as Martin Houston's ahead of Lassick. Here it gives. They fake the reverse. Lassick a hold to the 20. Cuts left to the 15. He cuts further left. Still on his feet down to the 13-yard line. A pickup of 7. Casey Greer made the stop. They faked the reverse, and then the rest was Lassick improvising.
That's right. Lassick with good broken field running that time. He was running more laterally, really, than north and south, but trying to spring it for the big one, that is to get it into the end zone. He was finally knocked down after a 6 to 7 yard pickup, make it a 7. It'll be 3rd down now and 3 at the Miami 13.5. This is a big play right here.
Bama is 4 of 9 in 3rd down conversions. The backs are split. Palmer in motion from the near side to the far. Off the near hash mark. Here Jay Barker drops back. He's looking to throw. He looks and looks. He's under pressure. He scrambles to the 15. He's on his feet to the 10. First down, Barker. He's forward to the 5. Inside to the 4, and a flag on the play. The flag is down at the 4-yard line as Barker was hit going out of bounds. We'll have to wait on the call. But as Barker was going out of bounds at the 4, there was a flag on the play.
Great play by Barker that time.
And somebody is hurt. Somebody is down. Jerry Duncan?
Oh, we got 3 Miami players down. Cesar's over here. He's trying to get his 300 pounds up.
And Smith just got up. He looked like he's hurt. At any rate, Barker that time scrambling with the football. He couldn't. He was looking for Palmer. He couldn't find him open. He scrambled to his left and evaded a tackler or 2. Finally got it down into the inside the 5. Here's the call for the official.
We have a face mask foul against the defense.
The face mask on the Hurricanes as 3 men reach in, and it was going to be the hand that time of Darren Smith, the strong side linebacker, who in rodeo form Bronco busted Barker to the turf, but Bama's got it 1st and goal from the 2. Big play right here. Bama leading 13-6 early in the 3rd. Backs are split behind him. Barker on the give. Here's Lassick. He is manhandled at the 3. The play will lose a yard. Smith and Ryan McNeil, the right cornerback in particular, he was there to lead that charge. McNeil on a 4th Pierce, Florida at 2nd and goal from the 3.
That's what Miami does now. They are not expecting Alabama to try to throw the football, so they're bringing everybody up to the front, and they're blitzing the outside linebackers. They're really getting inside. Now, the last time when Lassick left the ball game and Williams went into the ball game, he got it in on a cutback for a touchdown.
Here's a 2nd and goal. Football officially at the 2-yard line, heading towards the end zone to our left. The backs are split. Sherman Williams is there. They fake it. Barker going to run it and himself. Hustle up, Jay. He's to the 1-yard line. He's not going to make it. He had 2 men closing from the rear. He missed by a half yard as Dexter Siegler and Ryan McNeil chased him down. Barker missing by a step of breaking into the end zone.
That's right. Barker never saw the Dexter Siegler coming up behind him, and he kept trying to outrun to the corner. The cornerback, Ryan McNeil, he couldn't. He was dropped probably for no gain practically. Again, 3rd down for Alabama. They have in trouble, but this is a tough part of the field against a mighty tough football team.
2 tight ends, Buskey and Johnson. Craig Harris is in. 3rd and goal from the 1. Alabama from the right hash mark. Barker the give. Lassick off the tackle. Spins in backwards. Touchdown, Alabama! Touchdown, Alabama! As Derek Lassick spun in backwards off a last-second block. And the erupting sound from the Crimson Tide faithful here in New Orleans with 10-12 to go in the 3rd. Bama has now padded their lead to 19-6 against the Miami Hurricanes.
A lot of records are falling right now against this Miami squad, but Alabama, that time, were not going to be denied. They got the ball inside the 3.
Great block by Matt Hammond. He was the man.
Matt Hammond sprang him, got him into the end zone, but that was hard running by Lassick. He ran through 2 tacklers. Here comes the extra point.
The snap and spot are good. The kick is good. And with 10-12 to go in the 3rd, it's Alabama 20, Miami 6. We are live at the Louisiana Superdome, and they are about to launch the roof off this fabled building in downtown. Don't leave us now. Lots more football coming up. We'll be right back. Just listen to this crowd here in New Orleans. The $1 Million Band and the Alabama faithful. 6 plays, 20 yards, 3 minutes off the clock. How big was that, Jerry Duncan?
I'll tell you what, that was real big, boy. Those offensive linemen, did they ever work that? When they call it the red zone, they call it the blood and guts zone.
I tell you, Jerry, we were talking prior to the game about Miami's record in the red zone, but Alabama's hasn't been too shabby tonight either.
All right, but still, there's a lot of football to go, folks. There's 25 minutes and 12 seconds of football yet to play. And Miami is a team that has been terribly explosive. Let's not forget that.
Well, they've never been this far down yet, so
that's true. But in their last 6 games, they are averaging 41.5 points per. One guy here has a sign that says Gino's fallen and he can't get up. But there's still, as we say, 25 minutes of football yet to play. The Tide is up 20-6. And they cannot back down at all right here.
You're right, Eli. Alabama must continue to play at this level for the remainder of the ball game, because you're right, Miami is capable of striking from anywhere.
Kevin Williams and Jonathan Harris, the deep man. Here's the kick, end over end from Proctor, to be fielded by Williams at the 5, forward to the 10, up the middle to the 15, 20, breaks a tackle, still on his feet, lunges forward, still going to the 27-yard line. Finally, Michael Osmus was there to make the stop. And Gino Toretta with words on the sideline from Coach Dennis Erickson, out now to try and lead this Hurricane attack.
I'll tell you, Gino's had plenty of time to talk to him. He's only had 1 snap in the second half, and already 5 minutes has gone by.
Alabama leading 20-6. Glad you're with us tonight on the Alabama Sports Network. Pleasure it is for us to bring you this national championship game. First time we've had the pleasure of broadcasting this Sugar Bowl. 1st and 10, Canes from their own 29. 10 minutes remaining, 3rd quarter. He's going to work from the shotgun. Toretta will, with nobody back there with him. Quick release, intercepted Teague! Intercepted Teague to the 10, to the 5. He cuts left. Touchdown! 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 George Teague intercepting Gino Toretta. And Alabama's on top 26-6. Touchdown and a 30-yard run back for George Teague. And this is a wild scene of bedlam here at the Superdome as Alabama's lead is now 26-6.
That time Alabama again brought all those defenders up on the line of scrimmage. George Teague read it all the way. He knew he was going to try to pick up on Thomas, and he cut right in front of him and picked it off. I don't think Toretta ever saw him, and once Teague got it and moving to his right, it was clear sailing to the end zone, and in the last the last 5 possessions that Miami has had the football, Toretta has been intercepted 3 of the 5 times.
Here now the extra point attempt for the Crimson Tide. Michael Proctor dead on between the hash marks. Gene Stallings has yet to crack a smile on the sidelines, but again, Bama leading 26-6, trying to make it 27. A good snap and spot. The kick is equally as good. It is 27-6. Alabama on top of the Miami Hurricanes. Still early in the third quarter. Stay with us, folks. Kick back and enjoy. We're returning after this from our local stations on the Alabama Sports Network. They will call it officially a 31-yard interception run back for the touchdown. Interception by George Teague. That is going to be his 7th interception of the year. And for those of you who may not have the numbers in front of you, will tell you that nobody has scored more points against Miami than have the Crimson Tide tonight. The largest point total by any opponent were the 23 scored by Virginia Tech and the 23 scored by West Virginia. They lost those games 43-23 in the case of Virginia Tech and 35-23 in the case of West Virginia's Mountaineers. Now Bama leads 27-6 as we pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Alabama Sports Network. 9 minutes and 56 seconds remaining in the third quarter. It is Alabama 27, Miami 6. Welcome back to the Louisiana Superdome. Eli Gold with Doug Layton, Jerry Duncan, our statistician Tom Roberts, Butch Owens is our spotter, our engineer-producer Tom Stipe, Kirk Wood and Missy Beecher, some host communications, and our producer emeritus Burt Bank, all looking on, crammed in to this radio booth here at the Superdome.
The entire year, Gino Toretta in passing has only thrown 7 interceptions for the entire year. He's thrown 3 tonight. And as a matter of fact, he's thrown 3 interceptions in the last 5 possessions. Alabama's defense is just sticking it to the Hurricanes. They have not figured out what they're doing yet, and the offense is doing just what it has to do to win this ball game. Keep the ball, keep Toretta on the sidelines, and when given an opportunity, score.
Here's the kickoff by Proctor. It is an end-over-end kick. It is taken by Williams at the 2-yard line. He'll go to his left side, off blocking. He's still on his feet at the 10. He cuts in. He goes down. No, his knee never touched. He is taken back at the 11-yard line. Michael Osmus again there for the Crimson Tide. The young man out of Mobile's Murphy High School, a redshirt freshman, making the last 2 big stops for the Alabama special teams.
That's something that Alabama had sort of worried about coming into this ball game. With return guys like Kevin Williams and Jonathan Harris, they're capable of breaking those kickoffs open. But I'll tell you, they have really done a magnificent job tonight. The Alabama kick teams are in all phases of the game, and now Miami starts at their own 11.
It hasn't happened since 1952 when somebody ran an interception back for a touchdown in the Sugar Bowl. 1st and 10 Hurricanes from their own 11-yard line. Toretta, handoff to Bennett. He is stopped at the line of scrimmage and maybe even loses a yard. It was John Copeland with the big stop. The last time somebody ran an interception back for a touchdown, Ed Fullerton did it for Maryland against Tennessee before I was born. 1952. It's been a while. Alabama now with a 2nd and 10 after that big defensive stop. That's what the Hurricanes have to look at. 2nd and 10 from their own 10-yard line. 9:16 to go, third quarter. Still a lot of football ahead of us. 27-6, Alabama on top. Toretta with the man in the shotgun alongside of him. That's Bennett. Here comes Toretta with a flag on the play. He throws it long. It is complete. It is complete and could be broken all the way. Down the left sideline. Lamar Thomas. He is going to be overhauled by Alabama down at the 8-yard line. It's fumbled. It's fumbled. It is taken by Teague. He's going to run it back. And Alabama's got the football at the 10. But remember, there is a flag. Remember, there is a flag. There is a flag back at the 10. But after a long pass pass reception by Lamar Thomas. He ran down to the 8. He was tackled by Teague. Thomas fumbled the football. Teague recovered it. But there's a flag. We'll have to wait and see what all comes out of this. Meanwhile, Willie Gaston on the Alabama secondary is down on the field at the 9-yard line.
The fumble was caused by Teague. He actually ran down Thomas from the rear, and that's something, though, that Miami can do. They can strike from anywhere, and Willie Gaston is still injured. He's lying at about the 10-yard line. Teague recovered the fumble.
And it's going to be offside against Alabama, I believe, the way Miami is celebrating.
So they'll take the penalty then.
We have offside on the defense. 5-yard penalty. 3 plays second down.
Well,
bring it back.
Much ado about nothing.
Well, that's right. It was a biggie because Teague, but what that play did, I'm telling you, Eli, although Alabama was offsides and they'll keep the ball, but watch Teague run down Thomas from the rear and slap the ball out of his hands on that play and take it away from him. Thomas is going to think of that the next time he goes out on any kind of pass play, I promise you. Willie Gaston is up, and he's walking off the field under his own power.
The crowd is also cheering just as the highlight is shown on the Diamond Vision screen, the big color screens here at the Superdome. Even though it's a mark back against Alabama, the crowd enjoyed watching George Teague strip that ball from Lamar.
If Teague doesn't get him, it's a touchdown.
Yeah.
They refuse the penalty.
And remember, that's how explosive the Hurricanes can be. And Alabama remembers that well. Here now is a 2nd and 5 for the Kings. Football at their own 16-yard line. 8:50 to go, third quarter. 27-6 Alabama. Torretta. He'll try and go it up the middle, calling his own number, and he gets nowhere. Boy, there was an unexpected call, Jerry Duncan.
I don't have any idea what Torretta thought he saw that time. Gregory was late getting in the game, the nose guard, and I guess Torretta thought maybe he could beat him before he got set, but that was a bad plan.
It really was, and what he tried to, I guess, just not a sneak, but more of a draw, and he was just trying to catch Alabama's defense off guard. Instead, nothing. May have got a half a yard, but now it's third down and 5 or so for the first down, and Miami finds themselves facing another passing situation.
The Hurricanes are 4 of 9 in third down situations. Antonio London comes up on the line of scrimmage. Bama splitting the secondary again. Here's a 3rd and 4 out of the shotgun for Torretta. He steps back to the 5. He'll fire. It is nearly incomplete, or nearly intercepted. It was incomplete. Looking for Horace Copeland. Alabama had 2 men circling. You could hear all the Miami fans inhaling at one time.
And also getting up very, very slowly for Miami that time is Kip Vickers, who is trying to protect Torretta, and Eric Curry just ran right through him and got to Torretta and hurried the pass. They're going to have to punt.
Paul Snyder has punted 3 times today, averaging 43 yards per punt. David Palmer has 3 returns, a total of 41 yards. No pressure. Palmer at his own 42 makes the grab, sets out to the right side. He cuts left. He's to midfield, goes down on the 50-yard line. 8 minutes, 1 second remaining, third quarter. The USF&G Sugar Bowl to settle the national champion of college football. Bama leads it 27-6. We'll be right back. Miami's total offense, 1 yard.
In the second half?
1 yard. With 8 minutes, 1 second to go in the third quarter. 27-6 Alabama. Now there's some of my local stations on the Alabama Sports Network. Folks, if you'd like to celebrate Crimson Tide sports in 1993, a great-looking new Crimson Tide sports calendar has just been published. It's full color, has all sorts of information, chock full of color pictures about all of the Crimson Tide sports, and you might be able to order a copy just by contacting the Office of Host Communications in Birmingham at 871-8433, and there'll be other retail outlets we'll tell you about as we continue. First and 10, Bama. Football is at the 50-yard line. Here's the give to Martin Houston. Sidesteps Armstead, moves forward inside the 40 to the 36-yard line. Big play there by Houston as he sidesteps Armstead. Meanwhile, Tony Johnson was in as the tight end on that play. Jerry Duncan, what's the story on Buskey?
I'm here with Steve Buskey. They've maybe a little bit serious than I thought it was, Eli. They've taken the tape off now. Dr. Les Fallow, the orthopedic surgeon, has come over to take a look. I think they'll retape and then try to get back.
So we'll keep you updated on that situation.
A misdirection play run on that last one by Alabama. They sent everybody to left, sent Martin Houston to the right on a trap. He picked up big yardage. First down run by Alabama.
7.5 to go, third period. Bama up 27-6. First and 10 from the Canes, 37 to give to Sherman Williams. He'll lose 7 or 8 on the play. That one never even took shape before Darren Crine, the defensive left end, was in there with a quick stop.
He just came flying in from the left side, and nobody blocked him. Nobody picked him up. A loss on the play of about 4 or 5 yards. So now Alabama's faced with a second and long situation. And would it be just sort of a just reward for Jay Barker to sting Miami right now with a nice little pass to pick up this first down?
That would be good news. On the sidelines, Gary Duncan has just called up to say that Steve Buskey is okay. He's putting his shoe back on, should return. Second and 15, Bama from the Cane 42 on a delay give. Lassick, Barrow smelled that one, and he gets a couple of yards, Lassick does, back to the 40, but Michael Barrow from Homestead, Florida, was there to make the stop. And Bama now looking at a third down. They are 6 of 11 in third down conversions.
Yeah, and you can't blame Alabama. It looks like the offense is maybe starting to back off, leading right now the ball game 27-6 on a long and 2, second and long. It was a draw to the halfback, and Miami snipped it out in a hurry. So now we're faced with a 3rd and 12, and another run probably is in the offing.
3rd and 13. Football at the 40-yard line. Working in motion is Palmer to the far side. Bama heading to our left. Barker drops back. He's going to throw. Jay fires complete to Lassick, but the play will lose a couple of yards. As far back as Barker had to drop back to avoid the pressure from the Canes. The completion ends up losing a couple. Rowan Marley was there to make the stop for the Hurricanes, and Alabama will be forced to punt for the 3rd time today. Deal's first half punt went for 56 yards. His punt earlier in this second half went for 43 yards. Now 5.5 remaining in the 3rd. The clock do they have longer seconds here in New Orleans than anywhere else? That clock is taking an interminable time to get down towards zeros.
It seems like it does. You're right, but it is ticking. And Alabama now will start using up as much of the play clock as they can. As a matter of fact,
they're going to take a delay here.
I was about to say they're going to stand there and take a delay of game and let the clock run all the way down. And that's the case.
5:09. Time remaining, 3rd quarter. Alabama 27, Miami 6. Just joining us, you have missed something special. A 19-yard field goal by Michael Proctor. Then it was tied by the Canes on a 49-yard field goal by Dane Pruitt. Then Michael Proctor cashed in a 24-yard field goal after Alabama worked it down the field on 10 plays. Sherman Williams, after a Sam Shade interception, pranced in 2 yards for a TD. Bama led 13-3, then 13-6 at halftime as Dane Pruitt converted a field goal. Then a Lassick 1-yard touchdown run and a George Teague punt return for a touchdown. Give Bama the lead. Now on the punt, it is fair caught, but it goes all the way into the end zone. They signaled fair catch, but nobody was there, and about 3 Bama players collided.
Willie Gaston is one of them that's injured down there.
Buskey is the other. Buskey and Gaston and Johnson and Johnson. Sounds like a law firm, not to make light of it, though. The 2 Johnsons, Buskey and Gaston, all collided. And Gaston now getting up. So, too, one of the other Bama players who is down there, Victor Lockett. But it is Buskey who is still down atop the orange M in the end zone to our left. The senior tight end from Suitland, Maryland. He's having one of those deals, Jerry Duncan, where it didn't pay to get out of bed.
I'm telling you, and the guy wants to be in there every play because he's really been blocking well tonight. So he's going to be out for a while. Looks like he's out cold.
Yeah, he's trying to make the play, and that time he was, I think he hurt that leg again.
It was tough to tell.
But at any rate, he's still injured. Willie Gaston at least got up and hobbled off under his own power, so he's off the field. And Miami will get it at the 20-yard line after the touchback as the Alabama trainers work on Steve Buskey. In the second half, Miami's had the ball for only 5 snaps. and had 2 interceptions.
Don't forget, folks, if you'd like to enjoy again the Century of Champions, the Crimson Tide's first 100 years of football, the 3-volume video collection narrated by Keith Jackson of ABC Sports is available to you now by sending a check or money order for $59.95 plus $5.50 shipping and handling to Centennial Marketing, 2100A Southbridge Parkway. That's Suite 580 in Birmingham. The zip is 35209, or if you'd like, you can order by credit card by calling 1-800-488-3883. That's just one of the many items available to you as part of the Centennial celebration of Crimson Tide football, the Centennial ticket set, the medallion set, Alabama Football Illustrated, and that brand new calendar we've been telling you about, also available through the Crimson Tide, looking ahead and looking back, looking ahead to 93 with that brand new full-color calendar, and looking back on the Centennial with all those special Centennial issues available to you right now.
Coach Gene Stalling just went out on the field to check out Steve Buskey, and he is now turned and walking back to the Alabama side, and the trainers apparently are getting ready to get Buskey up. You look at the playback, and you see he ran into Willie Gaston.
Looked like Gaston got the worst of it, though, but he was the guy who got up, and Big Buskey stayed down.
Yep, and anyway, you don't know exactly what it was, whether it was his leg bothering him or what. I think that's the case. I think he re-injured his foot.
Dr. Gabe Fernandez is there. Philip Bobo is out there, team physicians for the Crimson Tide.
Right. So they're all taking... these youngsters are really cared for properly and watched over because, after all, this is a violent collision sport. There's no doubt about that. And apparently Buskey has re-injured the leg. He's coming back to the Alabama bench, and Miami will have it at their own 20 when players resume. 1st and 10 to go for Miami. And Toretta has really had troubles with the Alabama defense in his last 3 possessions.
It'll be 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line with 4:53 to go in the third. Hurricanes with the ball, but Bama leads 27-6. Here's Toretta stepping back. He'll fire a strike across the middle. It is complete to Coleman. Coleman with the big grab there. Horace Coleman, the senior out of Orlando, Florida, the number 1 pass catcher for the Hurricanes at 47 coming into the ball game.
Alabama appeared to be dropping into that drop zone again, and he just cut in the middle. Coleman did, and split the zone, and Toretta threw him a strike. 1st down for Miami.
Chris Jones wide left, Williams wide right, Toretta from the shotgun. 1st and 10 from his own 37. The Canes in the white with orange. Toretta drops back, and Reddy's covered under pressure. He'll throw it away. He just threw it away, looking towards Coleman Bell. Antonio London was there with Bell, while Gregory and Copeland forced the issue, and there was good double coverage elsewhere up the field.
Absolutely. That time, the Alabama secondary really did a great number on the Miami defenders, and he had nobody to throw it to, and with the pressure beginning to get to him, Toretta, a heads-up 5-year senior, not going to take a sack. He just dumped it over to the left side.
Toretta is 13 of 31, 144 yards. Of course, he attempted 61 passes at Iowa earlier this year, so 31 attempts is paltry in comparison. 2nd and 10 from his own 37. Toretta from the shotgun under pressure. Flags are on the play. Long pass. It is complete. The Alabama 40 inside to Coleman Bell at the 30-yard line. There are flags on the play, but everybody is marching up the field quickly enough. We'll have to wait and see, though, what the officials say. Coleman Bell, a 50-year senior who runs very good routes, will be held with that reception as Alabama was offside on the play.
That's right. A while ago, Miami took the offsides because Alabama had taken the ball away. But now, Alabama finds Miami just moving right down the field again.
Offside on the defense.
That'll be a completed first pass.
Yardage is sufficient for a 1st down.
That'll be a completed first pass and a pass and a 1st down. So Alabama again finds themselves backed up to their own 30.
Miami's on the move. 1st and 10 from the Bama 30. Heading towards the end zone to our right. 1 wide out left and 3 to the right side. Toretta from the shotgun. Has time. Steps back. Looks. Throws. Nearly intercepted. Nearly intercepted by Alabama's Lemansky Hall. As the pass that time was off the mark. Intended for Jonathan Harris.
Again, Alabama just rushing three guys, Gregory, Copeland, and Corey. That's it. And they are beginning to penetrate the Miami offensive front and have really been putting pressure on Toretta. He has not been getting the time you would think he would get with Alabama only rushing three and in a drop zone.
Toretta has thrown to 9 different men tonight. He threw to 15 different men during the regular season. Bama with 6 defensive backs. They come up to the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10 from the 30-yard line. Pass, tipped, knocked down, incomplete. As Alabama was right there, Eric Turner, the true freshman from Fort Payne, Alabama, came busting right through, and he tipped it away. 4 games in high school as an All-America or All-State performer, and he showed why right here.
Well, the Alabama defense that time got everybody up front, and they blitzed everybody. They haven't blitzed much tonight, but they did that time, and really got to Toretta and almost got the sack, but the ball was slapped away. And there's one thing for sure, Toretta will remember that youngster coming over his back.
Big play by Eric Turner. Miami 4 of 10 in third down conversions, looking at a 3rd and 10 from the Alabama 30. Bama leads 27-6 inside of 4 minutes remaining in the third. Pass quickly, complete, short of the first down. It was quickly a cut-in pattern to Lamar Thomas, the flanker, but it is well shy of the first down, about 5 yards shy to be exact.
A play that Miami loves to run with Toretta, that slant. The slant inside to Lamar Thomas. But I'll tell you, Thomas has taken a beating tonight. The Alabama defenders are really punishing him.
Shotgun Toretta. He'll step back. He's got pressure. He's going to loft one towards the end zone. Knocked away by Teague. But a flag on the play. There's a flag at the 25-yard line, not where Teague made the defensive stop, but there is a flag at the line of scrimmage. It's going to be against Alabama.
It's going to be another offside against Alabama. That'll give Miami a first down because they only needed about 4. And I don't know what it is. I guess they're lining up in the zone. I don't know what's going on. But this thing, the calls are coming from both sides. And that'll keep this Miami drive alive. Teague made the play and fell down the field.
On the defense, the yardage is enough for a first down. First down.
George Teague just had the wind knocked out of him. You might be able to hear in the background, the Bama assistant coaches are right next door to us, and the distinctive high-pitched shrill of some of the coaches banging on the table with that offside call. Jerry Duncan can hear us now.
Well, I hope that you're right when you say he just got the wind knocked out of him. It looks to me like they're working on one of his legs, Eli. It could possibly be a cramp. I hope that's all it is.
Yeah, you could. He's moving around. He's moving his arms and he's looking around. But hopefully.
Looked like one of the Alabama players might have even lined up offside. Again, with the benefit of our videotape, it is Eric Curry, who I think is inches offside lining up.
That's what I said. I didn't see anybody break, so probably they lined up in the neutral zone, and as a consequence, were called for offside. And that's why it was not, Miami's going to take the penalty regardless because it gave them a first down. Now, if the Alabama defense holds Miami this time, what a job they will have done.
Man, let's check in again with Jerry.
Eli, I think it's cramps more than anything on George Teague. He's still down. It was interesting. I was reading that Gino Toretta said that if he could give him 3.5 seconds, he could complete anything. I've been timing this thing down here. He's been getting anywhere between 2 and 2.5 seconds. They're really making him hurry his throws, and that's been the difference in this football game.
Teague is up and coming out under his own power, and I think that was what it was, calf cramps. And those things, if you've ever had them, they do hurt.
Yeah, he is limping a little bit. Bill McDonald, the head trainer, Dr. J.D. Askew also there looking on, but George seems to be bothered, as Jerry said, by cramping. It is a warm night here in the Superdome. Outdoors, a little more comfortable, and they say it is raining outside, or a light rain falling, but it doesn't bother us here indoors. 1st and 10, Hurricanes from the Alabama 19. 3 minutes, 8 seconds to go in the third. Bama up 27-6. Toretta drops. He'll unload to the backfield. Bennett, he'll take it around to the 15-yard line. The play picks up 4 as Donnell Bennett, the man who was back blocking along with Toretta in that shotgun, just swung out of the backfield for the quick reception.
This just a little quick out that time. He swung out of the backfield, and Toretta threw it to him right around the line of scrimmage, and Alabama broke to the ball in a hurry. hurry, and Willie Gaston was one of the guys to him to drop him after a short 4-yard pickup.
Steve Busty is walking off the field under his own power to the Bama locker room. 2nd and 6, Canes. Football at the Bama 15-yard line. Toretta, the give to Bennett. He'll bust free from Mario Morris and go forward to the 11-yard line. Antonio London and Chris Donnelly made the stop. That time he just ran free from Morris, who has really been playing well tonight, subbing for the injured Michael Rogers.
That's right, he really did break some tackles that time. Hard running. Bennett is big enough to do it, I suppose. Weighing, he's not that tall really, but he weighs 200 and close to 30 pounds.
Here now is a 3rd and 2 for the Hurricanes. Football is on the Bama 11. Miami 4 of 11 in third down conversions with inside of 2 minutes to go in the third period. Gino Toretto under center with a single setback. He'll look, he's got time, he throws, nearly intercepted by Johnson, but he did break it up neatly. The pass intended for Kevin Williams, and it goes incomplete.
Now Miami, faced with a 4th down and about 2-yard situation, must come up with something else. I wouldn't think they're going to kick a field goal with just a minute 43 to go in the third, trailing in the ball game by 21 points, but they might. Let's wait and see.
Here come Osmus, Turner, and Lemansky Hall. That means 7 defensive backs are in for Bama. They'll make sure nobody lines up offside this time. The Bama fans rise. Toretta from the shotgun. 4th and 2. Football at the 11. He's got the snap. He steps back. He'll throw the looper into the end zone. Tipped away. Incomplete. Tommy Johnson with the nice tip along with Sam Shade. And Bama has held the Hurricanes on downs.
What is just absolutely mind-boggling is that they held them on downs before, and offside penalty gave them another first down. They held them on downs again, and they'll take over the ball at the 11-yard line, and Miami has got to feel awfully frustrated right now.
You realize that you can take all of your fingers and all of your toes, and collectively in those 20 digits have more than the number of times Miami has been held on downs this year. 17 times they have been held on downs all season. And Bama's done it a couple of times tonight. 1st and 10 Bama now from their own 11-yard line. Alabama's got a pretty good hole to dig out of. Play action, the flip to Palmer. The deuce is loose, right side, around to the 20. Up the right sideline, 25-30. He gets Bama out of the big hole. He fumbles the ball, but he was already down. He was already down at the 37-yard line. The deuce loose for 27 yards, getting Bama out of that big hole.
The first time tonight, Alabama's tried the reverse with Palmer, and Miami just really didn't believe that Alabama would try the reverse. They've been talking all week how they wouldn't do it with Palmer, but buddy, did it work. The fake handoff to Lassick on the dive. Palmer scoots around the right side. First down, Alabama.
And he got around one of the quickest linebackers in America, Darren Smith, an All-America out of Miami. Here's a 1st and 10 Bama from their own 37. Kevin Lee in motion. The give to Lassick. Where did he go? He was snowed under at about the 35-yard line. Michael Barrow just ate him up that time.
Well, he tripped, too. When he got the handoff, he almost slipped down right then. I don't know what happened, really, but
he disappeared.
He didn't get his footing properly, and Barrow then finished him off for a loss on the play of a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 11 for Alabama.
Dabo Swinney leaves. Curtis Brown checks in. 18 seconds on the play clock. Alabama taking their time now. 58 seconds to go, third quarter. 27-6 Bama. 2nd and 12 from their own 35. Barker on the drop gives it to Lassick. He'll dance back to the 35-yard line. Maybe forward for a yard and a half as he fell that way. The clock continues to run inside of the final minute of the third quarter of play. Crine and Lopez made the stop on Lassick.
It's going to be very interesting now with Alabama faced with 3rd and about 10 situation, whether Jay Barker will throw it. Last time they did on the last series, he went to Lassick on an out on the left side. He didn't pick up the first down, but he did go to the air with it. Let's wait and see what he does right now with the ball at the 36, 37-yard line, 3rd and 10.
Bama going to the diamond personnel now with wideouts Wembley and Lee. Palmer in the slot. Backs are split on the 3rd and 10. Barker fires across the middle, diving catch, but he can't hang on. Wembley was there, could quite hang on. He beat Paul White diving for the football, but he couldn't quite hang on. That would have been on the highlight film had he been able to hold on.
That's right. Barker threw the ball in the best position. He threw it down low, where the only guy that had a shot at it was Wembley, and he couldn't come up with it, so Alabama must punt it away again. And so, because of the fact that Alabama got this 21-point lead, the offense has we've punted more in the last couple of series than we have all game long. So a punt coming up right now.
What a physical game. John Stevenson just limping along on the sidelines as Bama's Brian Deal will punt it away, or nearly blocked, but he gets a spiraling one away to Kevin Williams back to his own 16-yard line. This is the final play of the third quarter. Williams stutter steps, gets outside, and steps out of bounds at the 25 as the third quarter has ended. 3 periods of play complete. 15 minutes to go. It's Alabama 27, Miami 6 at the USF&G Sugar Bowl. Stay tuned. The fourth quarter next. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Louisiana Superdome. On the Alabama sidelines, players as one, standing with 4 fingers thrust in the air. Alabama has for many, many years amongst this first century of football owned the fourth quarter. That's been the signal. We move now to the final 15 minutes. But they've already played the final 15 minutes down in Miami. The Orange Bowl is now a final. Let's get a Dixie Crystal scoreboard update from Jim Zilke in the studio. James?
Okay, Eli, you're right. All eyes on the Sugar Bowl now because the Orange Bowl is history. 27-14 Seminoles over the Cornhuskers. Another tough night for Tom Osborne, and Florida State number 3 in the nation with a big win tonight.
So that is Jim Zilke in our Tide Talk studios. He'll have more scores and all the highlights a bit later on tonight on the post-game show. But right now, Dougie Dew with the third quarter statistics.
In 3 quarters of play, Alabama with 11 first downs to Miami's 10. But Alabama's picked up 208 yards on the ground already in the ball game. That's the most by any opponent of Miami thus far this year. Total yardage, 226 for Alabama, 198 for Miami, only 11 on the ground. Here we go.
Larry Jones is the single setback. 1st and 10 from their own 24 for the Miami Hurricanes. They go right to left. Quarterback Coretta fakes the give. He's under pressure by Morris. He throws. It's incomplete. He threw it down and away from the intended receiver, Copeland, who had a step for a moment on Antonio London, but the ball fell incomplete as we pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Alabama Sports Network. 2nd and 10 for the Hurricanes. Football at their own 24 as we welcome you back to the Sugar Bowl on the Bama Sports Network. Eli Gold with Doug Layton and Jerry Duncan. Here's a 2nd and 10 with nobody behind Coretta. All 11 men watching. Coretta stumbles going backwards and he throws it away. Gino Coretta stumbled over his own feet. He is sitting on the turf at the 15 being helped up by Alabama's John Copeland, and Coretta has one of those looks on his faces as though, what is happening here?
Well, what happened then was Eric Curry was in on him so quickly that he fell down in an attempt to avoid him. And then, of course, that threw the pass all off track, and it fell incomplete.
Looked as though his right guard, Kip Vickers, might have also interfered with him, backing up just a bit. That was the 40th pass attempt of the game. 16 of 40, 187 yards for Coretta. Now a 3rd and 10 from his own 23 out of the shotgun. Quick release, throws complete to Williams. He is stopped at the 26-yard line, a pickup of 3. Alabama's Derek Oden just hanging on for dear life. And Jerry, he was not about to let Williams get loose.
And with that stop of a pickup of only 2 or 3 yards, it's 4th down and 8, and Alabama defense is stuffing Miami now.
So the punting unit is on. Now you got to start thinking about fake plays and so on because Miami needs to hang on to the football. Paul Snyder is in to punt. It would be his 5th punt of the day. The deuce, David Palmer, back at his own 35. It is a straight-on punt. It's handled by Palmer, 36-yard line. Cuts right and left, and he's hauled down at the 40. So even when there was nothing there, he still managed to pick up 4 yards.
That time, they're not going to probably, Eli, what you're saying is correct. It's not impossible for something like that to happen. But that deep in your own territory, needing that much yardage, you're probably going to go ahead and punt it away. And at any rate, Alabama starts in pretty good field position at their own 40-yard line. And if the Tide can keep the ball about 6 or 7 snaps on this series, and don't turn it over except by a punt, the Tide will have accomplished what they need to do.
1st and 10, Bama from their own 40. On the give, Terrence Lynch across to the 43-yard line, went over left guard following George Wilson that time. Terrence Lynch, George Wilson, the winner of the Pat Trammell Award here in 1992 for the Crimson Tide, probably short of the national championship and an All-America honor, one of the most coveted awards that Alabama gives out each year.
Well, his father also won a national championship wearing the crimson and white of Alabama, and you can bet you that Butch Wilson is awfully, awfully proud now because his son is only about 13 minutes and a half away from one himself.
2nd and 6, Alabama from the 44. The Hurricanes jump in, and Toby Shields, the center, is deposited by Mark Caesar, the senior right tackle from New Jersey. Caesar is going to say he jumped when Shields moved the football. We'll have to wait and see whether the officials concur or not, but let's listen in.
Probably do.
We have a dead ball foul. False start.
It's false start in Alabama. And I tell you, these officials are not endearing themselves to Alabama fans.
Of course, the Southwest Conference officials haven't seen football in a long time.
They are not endearing themselves to Alabama fans, and the Alabama coach, Gene Stallings, is absolutely going bonkers, and that was a very good line. 27-6, Alabama leads Miami despite the officials.
6 flags on Alabama now for a loss of 40 yards. Dabo Swinney checks in for the Crimson Tide. He'll come wide right. Kevin Lee wide left. 2nd and 11 with Lynch and Anderson in the eye. Football to the 39. Lynch, he'll hopscotch over a man, get out to the 40. A yard pickup and gang tackling now. The Hurricanes are. Patrick Riley in at defensive tackle. The sophomore from Marrero, Louisiana, led that attack.
Well, Miami's got the advantage right now. They think that Alabama is not going to do anything but just hand the ball off and run it straight ahead.
They might be right.
And run the clock off. I mean, you're leading 27-6. Why do you want to do anything crazy here? You just run the ball straight ahead. If you can hang on to it, great. If not, you'll punt it away and make Miami work at least 80 yards for any kind of score.
3rd and 9 from their own 41. Backs are split here. Barker drops back. He is going to throw a lofting pass. It's in and out of the hands of Curtis Brown, incomplete. Paul White was on top of him, making sure that CB didn't make the reception there. Curtis Brown, the senior out of Johns Island, South Carolina. Boy, what a way it'll be to go out for these Crimson Tide players who are playing in their final game for the university today.
That was a good play by Barker that time. He threw the ball as well as he could, and Curtis almost brought it down, but it was 3rd and long situation, and Miami probably was expecting that. Punt time for Alabama. They've had to punt the last 3 possessions with the football.
And they get good protection for Brian Deal, who'll send a wobbly punt back to Williams at the 24, 25, forward to the 30, cuts right, cuts backwards. He is getting loose to the outside. He's forward to the 35. He's loose to the sidelines. Brian Deal can't get him. He's going to go all the way. Did he step out of bounds? He's going to traipse all the way for a touchdown. I do not see any indications of an out of bounds. Touchdown, Miami. Kevin Williams, the man who has been so dangerous. We told you about him earlier. He managed to break 3 or 4, if not more, tackles and even avoid a couple of his own men for a 77-yard punt return for a touchdown.
And you can't relax against a team that has the talent that this Miami squad has. You just cannot relax because they can burn you from just about anywhere, and this is what Kevin Williams did. It was some poor tackling on the part of Alabama. He just ran through grass after grass and took it the distance with the reception. So Alabama now finds themselves leading, but now it is 27-12.
And one would assume they will... Well, I thought they might go for the 2-point conversion, but apparently they will line up straight on here for the extra point attempt by Dane Pruitt. Broke 4 tackles that time, did Kevin Williams. With 12:08 to go in the game, Bama up 27-12. The extra point makes it 27-13. So the Crimson Tide still on top by a couple of touchdowns, but that one was a big play for the Hurricanes with 12:08 to go in the game. We'll be right back. 12 minutes, 8 seconds to go in the game. Alabama 27, Miami 13. Timeouts, 3 remaining for the Canes, 2 for the Crimson Tide. This is the Alabama Sports Network. All right, time to kick it off again. After that touchdown, the Hurricanes' Dane Pruitt will get set to kick it away to Chris Anderson, David Palmer in the middle, and Sherman Williams to the near side.
That's the first touchdown by Miami in the ball game today, coming here in the fourth quarter. It's going to be interesting when we check statistics. We know, of course, in the Arizona game earlier in the year, they only scored 1 touchdown.
Right.
But it's a rare item indeed to hold this Hurricane to no touchdowns offensively, and of course that hadn't occurred yet. But what a job Alabama's been doing, except for that one slip in the kicking game.
Can't let up, though.
Nope.
Still a lot of football to play. 12 minutes and 8 seconds. The Hurricanes will kick it away right to left to the Bama trio. The kick by Pruitt. Kicks it away. Palmer at the 5. The deuce to the 10. Straight ahead 15. Still straight ahead 20. Breaks a tackle 25, 30. Loose on the near side. Stiff arms a man out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Boy, the deuce has given Bama some good field position, and again, a scuffle ensues along, this time, the Alabama sideline.
The Alabama offense in the last 3 possessions have had 1, 2, 3 punted the ball, but they got possession at their own 50, then not too sharp at the 12, but this time at their own 40. So let's see what Alabama can do this time.
We are at the Louisiana Superdome with 12:02 to go in the ball game. Alabama 27, Miami 13. The winner takes the national championship back home, either to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, or Coral Gables, Florida. First and 10, Bama from their own 41-yard line. Here, Jay Parker on the delay. Option. Here's the reverse to Palmer. Tries to cut inside. He can't. He will lose 4. That time, Siegler and Smith, along with Barrow, all smelled the option.
They saw that one coming. It was the reverse by to Palmer, the pitch back, and they played it beautifully, and nobody blocked Barrows. He got through there in a hurry, and playing up so close that time was Dexter Siegler. And Miami's expecting to run. They're not playing anything at all, but just pure run defense.
Palmer wide left, Wembley wide right, backs in the eye. 2nd and 14 from their own 37. The play clock to 5. Barker to Lassick. He'll fake the option, keep it up to 40. Cuts right to the 45. On his feet to midfield. He's about a half yard shy of the first down. Hallman and Green and Rowan Marley there to make the stop. It'll be shy of the first down by about half a yard, I would think.
Lassick that time faking the reverse. He did not hand it to Palmer breaking behind him, and it is not the first time that Miami has seen that in the ball game today, as a matter of fact, and every time it has worked fairly well. So it is on that play, the officials are talking about something. They're trying to decide whether it's a first down play or not. They've now decided that they're going to want to bring in the chains to measure it if they can, to see if they did get the first down, or if Lassick did. The ball's right at midfield as the chains go down, and he missed it by about 4 or 5 inches. So it'll be 3rd down and 4 or 5 inches. Let's see what happens, as Alabama would like very much to pick up the first down, maintain possession, keep the clock moving, and watch Miami throttle.
Derek Lassick, 26 carries, 131 yards. That's the most yards anybody has gained this year against the Hurricanes. Richie Anderson of Penn State gained 116 for the Nittany Lions. All right, 3rd and those 4 or 5 inches. Bama packing it in at midfield now. Barker his own number. I don't think he's going to get there. But again, 2nd effort, 3rd effort. Jerry, I don't think he's going to get there.
Going to be awfully close.
Well, it all depends on where he's spotted, Eli. Of course, with this group, you never know.
That's doggone true. Let's going to see where it's going to be. It could very well spot it with his left foot and make it, but if he uses his right, we could be in trouble. But he needed to get past the 50 by almost to the 49 to get the first down, and I don't much think he got it.
They're going to have to bring the chains in again from the far side. Referee Rogers Redding out of the Southwest Conference calling for the chain gang.
Miami just stacked it up that time in the middle. They were expecting either that or a dive or something of that nature, and they just were going to let Alabama run it at them. And let's be realistic, folks. This Miami squad, they're a good football team, and they got an excellent defensive squad. He missed it by 2 inches.
Missed it by 2 inches, if that much. Now what do you do?
Well, I would punt, but let's wait and see what Coach Stallings is going to do. He's listening to the players again, and they say, let's go for it. And here they go.
Here come Lassick, or at least Taryn Lynch now. Here comes David Palmer. Here comes Curtis Brown back in. Here comes Chris Mangum at tight end. Brown will leave, so Mangum, remember, with Buskey out injured.
Remember now, they could take the delay and punt it still and hope to pull them offside.
The give. Houston, forward, first down, I believe. I think that second effort did it.
He got it.
I believe the second effort did it.
I see where the official's marking it, so that'll be first down.
That'll be at the 49-yard line of the Canes.
And so Alabama, a gutty call by Coach Stallings and his crew to go for it on fourth down, and you're leading 27-13. The national championship is at stake. Gutty call, and one that paid off.
So it's 1st and 10, Bama from the Hurricane 49-yard line. 10:23 remaining in this national championship game. Curtis Brown wide left, Lee wide right, Tommy Johnson the tight end. Backs are in the eye. 1st and 10 for Jay Barker between the hash marks. Gives it on the pitch back to Lassick. He'll go forward for about a yard. Actually, may even lose a yard there. He got ahead of steam going, but they'll get him back at the 49.5, so the play will lose about a half yard. And again, Barrow, along with Darren Smith, both came up. Barrow broke a nice block. So did Smith to get in there. Finally, Greer made the final stop, the strong safety coming up.
That time, Miami defensively played it beautifully and came up for the stop was Barrow. Alabama that time with just a straight toss to the halfback. Sherman Williams comes into the ball game now at the tailback position.
2nd and 10 from midfield for Bama, going left to right. On the give this time, Martin Houston stood up, then goes forward for a pickup of about a yard or so, maybe a yard and a half. Bama now closing in on 3 minutes in this possession. 9:13 to go in the game.
Alabama just watching the Alabama bench, looking at the side, and they just look like they're just trying to hold the ball and let the clock run. And as a consequence, Miami is just watching their live blood drip out. They got to have the football, and Alabama is thwarting their every effort, but the Tide still won't throw it.
3rd and 8. Bama is 6 of 15 in third downs. Again, the pitch back. Williams, he's going to throw. Sherman's looking for the deuce. David Palmer out about the 10-yard line. He is hit. There's a flag on the play. It'll be interference by any one of 3 men. 3 men had drawn the responsibility of tying up David Palmer. He was in triple coverage, and the option pass from Sherman Williams, and the flags came a-flying.
I'll tell you, Sherman's pass was not a thing of beauty. It looked sort of like a wounded goose.
There were guys pulling their rifles out to try and knock it out of midair, but who cares?
It worked, and from Palmer down there.
And pass interference on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
Automatic first down. It's a 15-yard penalty from there. You don't put the ball down where like you did a few years ago in the old pass interference. And they really hammered Palmer that time. Before the ball got to it.
Siegler was there. Greer was there. Terrace Harris was there. And it was tough to tell which of the 3 men was the guiltiest. The deuce was kind of like that little silver ball in the pinball machine bouncing off all 3.
It was a great call, Louis. It was just a super call.
1st and 10, Bama from the 32. The give to the running back. Bursting through is Sherman Williams to the 26-yard line.
Williams that time behind some good blocking. Busted it past the 30 inside the 27 that time. Good running by Sherman Williams.
And the clock continues to roll. 8:24 to go in the ball game. Alabama that distance away from their 12th national championship. Still Hammond, Wilson, Shields, Stevenson, and Patterson across the front for the Crimson Tide. And what a game that group has played tonight, Jerry.
You're absolutely right, Eli. And I tell you what, Mal Moore has called a great offensive game plan.
As he ever did, it's just absolutely mind-boggling what he's done with this group. We got a timeout taken by Alabama, stopping the clock with just under 8 minutes to go in the ball game.
That is their second timeout of the half. Bama has one more remaining, leading 27-13 with 7:58 to go. We'll be right back. 7 minutes and 58 seconds to go, separating Bama from another national championship. We are live at the Louisiana Superdome, and we're back after this from our local stations on the Alabama Sports Network. We are coming up on the 8th play of this drive, a drive that has already consumed 4 minutes and 10 seconds as Bama, in machine-like precision and with the help of a flag, marching the football upfield now, looking at a 2nd and 4 from the Miami 26, and there are some heads starting to hang low on the Hurricane sidelines. Here's Bama now, with backs in the eye on the 2nd and 4. Wide outs to the right side for Jay Barker. He'll pitch it back. Williams on the fake reverse, keeps it himself and goes inside the 25 to the 24-yard line. Pickup of a couple on the play, setting up a 3rd down and about 2.5 to 3.
All of a sudden, not only are the boys in the crimson the enemies of the Miami Hurricanes, but the clock is also. But that play sent Sherman Williams skittering out of bounds, stopping the clock with 7:53 to go. It'll be 3rd down and about a yard, maybe half a yard to go for the 1st down. And Miami, in the past couple of 3rd down and short situations, stacked it up front with 7-8 men. Let's see what to do this time.
Swinney wide left. 3rd and 1 for Bama. The give. Houston lowers the head, lowers the shoulders, pulls his way to the 20. 1st down, Alabama, and keep that clock rolling.
I'll tell you, this offensive line, what a job they're doing on this drive. When they needed to keep the football and run it and keep the clock ticking, they have done just that. They've picked up big 1st downs throughout this drive.
You got to feel so good for Gene Stallings, too. I envy you being able to go down to the locker room on the Lakes locker room report, because that is going to be a thrilling, but I'm sure a very emotional place as well.
No doubt about it. I'm really looking forward to the report.
1st and 10, Bama from the Hurricane 20. Bama has 1 timeout remaining. The play clock down to 8 seconds. Jay Barker's going to let it go down to about 3 seconds before he snaps the ball with the backs in the eye. Jay on the delay give. Lynch, big hole. Tarrant forward to the 10. Cuts right to the 5. He's inside to the 4-yard line. Tarrant Lynch, the sophomore from Hazelwood High School in Town Creek. And boy, is that high school in that little town ever contributed to Bama history. He's to the 4-yard line. 1st and goal, Bama from there.
Making a great block that time was George Wilson. I mean, he busted a hole for him. You can see George right there. And that gave Alabama the big 1st down inside the 5. And all of a sudden, Miami is beginning to realize that this is not the team they were talking about all week long. Great run by Tarrant.
The 11th play of the drive coming up. It has taken better than 5 minutes. Johnson and Mangum are the 2 tight ends, and timeout is taken. Timeout by Bama. They will use their final timeout with 6:56 to go in the ball game.
He wanted to he only had 2 ticks left on the play clock, and Jay did not want to get penalized 5 yards right here. That would have put the ball back to the 10. It'll be 1st and goal from there. I guess they want to see if they can get it into the end zone again. I don't blame them.
I don't blame them at all. We are in New Orleans, Louisiana. They're about to light a candle on this baby. The sign says, hanging from the upper deck, Hurricane season's over. The tide is coming in. Stick around. We'll be back. From the Louisiana Superdome, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Alabama Sports Network. 6 minutes, 56 seconds is all that separates the Alabama Crimson Tide from their next national championship. I say next because that's been the tradition of this school. The championships just keep on rolling in. This would be their 12th in school history. Dennis Erickson on the sideline for Miami. Gino Torretta, all the players standing in some semblance of shock as Bama has 1st and goal from the Hurricane 4. Inside of 7 minutes to go in the ball game. With Martin Houston in motion. The pitch back to Williams. Nice block. He turns to the corner. Out of bounds to the 3. They'll give him a yard gain depending on the spot. Robert Bass, the junior out of Brooklyn, New York, was there at middle linebacker. There to make the stop.
It was Martin Houston who tried to spring him, who went into motion first and then slanted back and tried to bust him loose in the short side of the field into the corner of the end zone. But excellent play that time by Miami to prevent the touchdown.
Second and goal, football at the 4. Alabama's had big plays all year. Tonight has been no exception. But they're doing it against the number 1 team in America. 3 backs now behind Jay Barker. On the give to Lassick. He's going to go way outside, cuts it in. Touchdown! Touchdown, Alabama! A 4-yard touchdown run for Derek Lassick, and the party is about to begin. Alabama 33, Miami 13. Derek Lassick trotting around the sidelines, holding his hands high, waving at the Bama fans. The cheerleaders exulting as Alabama had Chris Anderson make a key block. Then Terrence Lynch cleared out Barrow, the middle linebacker, and Lassick cut in behind them for the touchdown.
No problem that time by the Alabama offense. I think, well, the Miami defense has really been on the field a long time. And this drive alone, they've been out there about 8 or 9 minutes, and they're just getting tired. It's as simple as that.
Extra point for Alabama. The snap and spot. And the kick, good. It is good. And with 6:46 to go in the game, it is Alabama 34, Miami 13. The national championship now within sniffing distance as we break for this to my local stations on the Alabama Sports Network. Welcome back, everyone. We are at the Louisiana Superdome. The Alabama fans are just dancing in glee. Doug Layton's got that crimson towel that he is now beginning to fold up and put away.
I lost it, remember, for the Florida game.
I remember that.
What happened. And I don't know, what are we going to do for tonight on picking a player? What are we going to do? Good grief.
I don't know. The Texaco star player of the game, Texaco is an official sponsor of the Southeastern Conference and of Crimson Tide football, and it's going to be impossible. You might have to reward a whole slew of Texaco honors here tonight. I'll tell you, this is a party galore, except for one section across the way where the Miami fans are sitting stoically.
They really are. But they've been celebrating all week. They've been talking a lot and enjoying themselves, so why not? It's their turn now, right?
It is, with 6:46 to go in this football game. You folks might want to grab a pencil and paper, because if nothing changes here tonight, we've got some very special announcements for you coming up in the post game. You might want to jot them down and grab a phone number and so on. So just to be forewarned, you might want to grab a pencil and paper for some interesting and I think enjoyable notes in the post game show. The First Alabama Bank fifth quarter show that comes up shortly. Here, Michael Proctor sends an end-over-end kick sailing. Is his adrenaline ever going? It's Williams going to run it out. He'll run it out from 3 yards deep. He'll come to the near side. He's hemmed in, back at the 10. He reverses direction, going to the far side. He avoids one tackler there. He's still on his feet. Dabo Swinney can't stop him, but he steps out of bounds at the 20. And now a flag. A flag on a late hit at the 20-yard line. There was actually not so much a late hit, but even some taunting going on by Derek Harris, a linebacker who was standing over top of Mickey Kahn, who had been knocked down by the Hurricanes. We'll have to wait and see if they call a late hit or some taunting. Let's listen in to referee Rogers Redding.
If it's taunting, it'll be unsportsmanlike conduct.
We have a dead ball, personal foul on the receiving team. Penalized half the distance to the goal.
The personal foul came as a late hit, folks.
Right.
Mickey was knocked a little bit into la-la land. As a matter of fact, he is just hanging out at trainer Bill McDonald, but he walked off under some semblance of his own power, so he's okay.
I'll tell you, Eli, the second half so far, Miami has thrown the head the ball for 5, 10, 14, only for 17 snaps. It's been all Alabama in this ball game from start to finish, really.
All right, here we go. The Hurricanes, explosive as they are, have the football. 1st and 10 from their own 11. The quarterback, Gino Torretta, works out of the shotgun. He's got 3 wideouts to his left side. They're going right to left, the Hurricanes are. Out of the shotgun, Torretta steps back. He'll throw the quick release. It is complete to the man out of the backfield, Donnell Bennett. And he is ridden out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Donnell Bennett, the pass catcher there.
What you're going to see Miami do now, Eli, is Alabama goes into that zone. They're dropping back. They don't want the big strike, and make Miami move downfield with the short passes underneath. They'll move the ball 8, 9 yards a shot. But while they're doing it, the clock will be ticking down. And with that penalty, they needed a whole bunch of yards for first down. It is now 2nd and 13.
Football is at the 18-yard line. Their own, going right to left. Toretta steps back. He sets. He throws. Incomplete. Tommy Johnson was the closest man to it. The football was behind the intended receiver. Horace Copeland sets up 3rd down and 13. The Hurricanes are 4 of 13 in 3rd down conversions tonight.
Good pressure by Eric Curry that time. He was looping around his blocker, put pressure, got to Toretta, and made him forced to throw. He didn't really want to throw it at that time, but Curry was there. He had to. This is a big play here. Miami's going to go for it on 4th down, even if they don't make it here.
6:24 to go in the ball game. 3rd and 13 for the Canes on their own 18-yard line. Toretta from the shotgun. Bama drops a couple of men back into a deep zone. Toretta steps back. He'll call his own number. Steps up. Throws. Williams reception 25-yard line. He'll angle to the sidelines. Gets near the yardage. We'll have to wait for the spot. If he misses it, he misses it by an inch. But he gets out of bounds to stop the clock at 6:16 to go in the football game. And they're going to have to bring the chains all the way across. From this angle, it looked as though he got out of bounds at the 30. And looking at the yard marker, it's at about the 30 3/4 mark there on the field. So if he missed it by a foot or two. We'll have to wait and see. Don't forget the first Alabama Bank 5th quarter show coming up right after this one.
Miami's going to, when they get the completion, they're trying to save the timeouts, and what they're doing is shooting to the sideline as soon as they complete a pass, and Alabama's allowed them to do so underneath. They just don't want Toretta to hit them with a bomb. But as they keep it, the clock continues to move. It's about 6:16 to go in the ball game right now. It's going to be awfully hard for Miami to do anything about Alabama winning this ball game.
Alabama now leading by 3 touchdowns and 3 extra points. They are short. The Hurricanes are short by about that 1.5 feet. So it's now 4th down and a foot for the Canes. Football at the Alabama 30 with 6:16 to go. Remember, Alabama is out of timeouts. Miami does have their full complement remaining. Here, Toretta now comes in under center. Bama has Nunley, Copeland, Curry all stacking the middle. Oden comes up. Morris comes up to give to Bennett. He's forward for the first down to the 31.5, 32. Donnell Bennett gets the yardage. The clock will stop for the motion and the movement of the chains. And then the Canes will have to go back to work. Alabama just stacked up the middle as best they could. Some huge plays tonight, though, for the Crimson Tide. George Teague with a 31-yard interception return for a touchdown. Has now Toretta 1st and 10 for his own 32 from the shotgun. Steps back, throws towards the sidelines. Low, nice grab, no. They'll say it is incomplete. Chris Jones, the intended receiver at the 42, the wideout, trying to pick it up off the top of the strands of that artificial carpet and just couldn't quite come up with it. So it remains 2nd and 10 now, football at the 32-yard line. Doug Layton is already making his way down to the locker room. The Lakes locker room report coming up as part of the first Alabama Bank 5th quarter show. Jerry Duncan is making his way into the seat beside us. We'll give him a moment to catch his breath as Miami now looks at a 2nd and 10. Football is at their own 32 with 5:59 to go. Toretta from the shotgun has time. He sets. He throws. It is a complete pass to the 47-yard line. George Teague came up with a big stick, but not before Chris Jones made a nice reception out at about the 47-yard line of the Miami. Now stops the clock by downing the football. Jerry Duncan.
Oh, Eli.
I feel like I've played about 4 hours tonight.
I do, too. I tell you what, I'm so proud for those guys, those players, and the coaching staff. You could tell before the game they were just, they had been here for a week, and everybody was just ready to play. They heard all this stuff and all this trash talk, and they just wanted to get out there on the field and play, and play they have.
I was talking with athletic director Hootie Ingram in the hotel this afternoon, and he said, I know they're ready. And he said, I'll tell you something, Miami is tight, because he knows a lot of the Miami people. 1st and 10 now. 2nd and 10 for the Canes. On their own 47, Toretta fires. Complete. And you might hear Bill Oliver in the background. The Alabama assistant coaches are in the box immediately to our right. And Bill Oliver calling for his defender, in that case, Willie Gaston, to come up and shall we say, tie up the pass catcher.
Bill Oliver, with 5 minutes and 43 seconds to go, he's coaching like we were 21 behind.
Instead of 21 ahead.
Absolutely.
Here's 3rd and 5 for the Hurricanes now. Football is at the Alabama 48. Coretta. Loose football at the 45 of Miami. He'll fall on it. They were deploying Donnell Bennett, the fullback, up the middle, and he might well have been loose. But Toretta on top of the loose football, and still there's talk. Coleman Bell, the tight end for the Hurricanes, still down there yipping and yapping, and all the Bama players have to do is say, hey, look at the scoreboard.
That's right. That's what you tell them. And the thing about it is Toretta has... the whole ball game, he's just been off. I mean, and the reason he's been off is that group of young men over there wearing those red shirts on that defensive side of the ball.
Here now is a 4th and 12. Again, Bama trying to hold the Hurricanes on downs. 4th and 12 in their own 45. Toretta drops back out of the shotgun. He's going to throw it for all he's worth. Looking for Williams. Nobody's home. Overthrows. Incomplete. Willie Gaston was there. Eric Turner was there. Alabama's George Teague and Antonio Langham. Everybody was there, and again, the Canes turn it over on downs. And now, Miami's going to have to start using timeouts to stop the clock because Alabama, with 4:51 to go in this one, is about to put the nail on a national championship.
And Eli, since about the midway through the second quarter, I'm sure you can see it on the film. You'll see Miami's had to have 2 men blocking on Eric Curry.
Exactly.
And,
did you see the couple of times they put Copeland and Curry on the same side, trying to exploit a particularly tough spot on the Hurricane offense? And timeout now taken by Miami. The Hurricanes will take timeout. And in at Alabama's quarterback now is Brian Bergdorf. Brian Bergdorf in at quarterback for the Alabama Crimson Tide. So timeout taken by the Hurricanes. Bama has also put in Johnny Howard. We see Chris Mangum still in at tight end. Also in for Alabama, Joey Harville. William Barger is there. In at running back in his final game for Bama, Craig Harris. Boy, who would have expected Bama would be able to go deep, let alone win comfortably, but start doing what they do in games like against Southern Miss and so on, and that is go deep into the depth chart.
Well, I see our guys over here on the sidelines now. I see George Wilson and Toby Shields, John Stevenson, Roosevelt Patterson all hugging one another. They know the job's done.
The job has been done masterfully. As the national championship will go to the Alabama Crimson Tide in 4 minutes and 51 seconds from now. Not to shift gears in the middle of this all, but don't forget, folks, tomorrow night we've got basketball for you. We'll be in Nashville, Tennessee, because the Crimson Tide sports world continues to revolve. It's Alabama and Vandy tomorrow night at 6:30 from Memorial Gym in Nashville. Tom Roberts and I, along with Tom Stipe, will be there for that one with you.
Boy, some great calls from Mal Moore on that sidelines. 4th down and 6 inches, and they go for it, and then they have the halfback pass that we got the interference call on.
Brian Bergdorf at quarterback. 1st and 10, Bama at the Miami 45-yard line. On the give, here's Chris Anderson. Big hole. He's to the 43-yard line. And again, Alabama will obviously not stop the clock. If the Hurricanes want to, they can start expending their 2 remaining timeouts.
Of course, I think Gino Toretta sealed his fate, Eli, on the first 2 pass attempts of the second half when he threw 2 interceptions. One of them George Teague intercepted and ran for a touchdown.
Jimmy Fuller on the sidelines now. Mike Dubose is down there. The Bama coaches heading to the sidelines, embracing their players. 2nd and 8 for the Tide. Bergdorf at quarterback. Football is at the Kane 43. Play clock at 4, 3. They'll wait till 2 seconds and snap it. Handoff Anderson. Just runs in a circle and goes down at the original line of scrimmage. No gain, no loss. As Alabama now brings in Lorenzo Cole out of Fayetteville, Florida, to enter the football game. The Florida players getting some PT, some playing time now. What a night. With 3:47 to go, and Bama leading by 21 against previously unbeaten Miami. They've not lost in 29 games. Here's a 3rd and 8 from the Miami 43. Bergdorf at quarterback for Alabama. Ryan lets the clock go down to 3 seconds this time. Calls his own number, keeps it inside the 40. He's to the 36-yard line. It'll be short of the first down. But nevertheless, Alabama getting some nice scampering on the part of Burdorf, something Brian did well playing high school ball in Cedartown, Georgia. Meanwhile, on the sidelines, a little suspense beginning to unfold. Chad Key, the third of the Alabama quarterbacks, has grabbed the thirst quencher, the 10K thirst quencher in the big old yellow and blue canister. Hope Gene Stallings brought some dry clothes to the dome. I think he's about to get a shower.
Oh, my goodness. He don't even know when that water hits him tonight.
2:49 to go in the game. Alabama 34, Miami 13. And now Alabama will take a delay of game.
Coach Stallings and Coach Dubose shaking hands and hugging each other. This all started back in the 1st of January last year. Right after Alabama got back from the Blockbuster Bowl, when they hit the weight rooms and went through spring training, went through all that summer work, went through a grueling season, 9 Southeastern Conference games, first SEC championship game.
And how about old Jay Barker? They say the kid can't throw. They say the kid can't run. He's now 17-0 as an Alabama starter. On the punt, Dio under pressure, gets it away. This time the deep man is Jonathan Harris. He'll let it go, and it takes a Bama bounce. Everything going Bama's way. It is down at the 5-yard line. It is down at the 5-yard line by Tony Johnson. Everything going Alabama's way here tonight. On the sidelines, Jay Barker, George Wilson, John Stevenson, they all shake hands. And what a year it has been. John Stevenson had a personal loss in his family. Michael Rogers with the injury. Some other off-the-field problems for certain Crimson Tide players. It has not, by any stretch of the imagination, been a cakewalk. No way.
It's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be a cakewalk. It's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be just like this.
And now the Alabama fans joining the Tide. Eric Curry dancing on the midfield area. Here come the Hurricanes out of the huddle with 2.5 to go until the national title is Bama's. 1st and 10, the Hurricanes from the 5-yard line. Toretta, the quarterback, to give to Donnell Bennett. He'll run up the middle across the 20 and dive forward to the 23-yard line. Donnell Bennett, the number 1 rusher on the ball club, has played well tonight for the Hurricanes. Alabama getting contributions from all corners. That time, Michael Allsmith, who was in on some big plays earlier. Bama Athletic Director Cecil Hootie Ingram has joined Gene Stallings on the sidelines. What a proud, proud time for all who wear crimson and white. On the 1st and 10, Toretta fires complete far side. Complete, that time on a nice square-out pattern to Jonathan Harris. They'll give him the football at about the 27-yard line. A pickup of 6 on the play. Of course, the clock stops as he went out of bounds.
Oh, what a great job the defensive staff did making those adjustments, Eli, and just kind of playing that little game with Gino. It worked. They got inside his mind.
Here's a 2nd and 4 now for the Hurricanes. Football is at their own 27-yard line. Toretta drops, fires right side, complete, then hit. Sam Shade hit the receiver so hard he coughed up the football. It was in the hands of Larry Jones, and when Sam came calling, Jones dropped it. That was the 50th pass attempt of the night for Toretta. He is 22 of 50, 234 yards. Remember, he had 61 attempts at Iowa. He's also been picked off an incredible 3 times.
And the great thing about Sam Shade, he's just a sophomore.
Amen. Now in a 4-yard situation. On the delay give, Donnell Bennett and Larry Jones. It is Jones who gets the first down yardage out across the 30 to the 34. First third down conversion of this half for the Hurricanes of Miami, as we are now inside of 2 minutes to go. 1:55 remaining until they light the fuse on what is going to be one of the biggest parties the city of New Orleans has ever seen. And they've seen some dandies over the years, Mardi Gras included.
I imagine they had one last night, Eli.
They did. 1st and 10 for the 35. Long airing it out. Toretta can't quite find the intended receiver. He was looking for Lamar Thomas, just throwing it long. It's 2nd and 10 now. Football at the 36. You know, this is the kind of time you reflect back on our Saturday morning meetings with Gene Stallings in his hotel suite. He says, all right, here's what we're going to try and do. And he says, he doesn't prepare any differently for any game, and he told us that week after week. You and I were stubborn. We'd say, all right, you're not looking past Southern Miss to Arkansas, are you? You're not looking past Tulane to Tennessee, are you? And he would say, no, and he never wavered, and the preparation pays off. 2nd and 10, Miami from their own 35. Toretta with the single setback. The handoff, and is loose. It is taken by Larry Jones across the 45 to the 47-yard line. Donnelly came up to make the stop. The Alabama sidelines party-like. The Miami sidelines morgue-like.
I tell you, I really believe when you give this staff this much time to prepare for somebody, Eli,
it's tough to beat, as we have shown here this season, going 13-0. 1st and 10 Hurricanes on their own 48-yard line. Toretta on a square-out pass. It is complete. Nicely done that time. Got to give him credit to Lamar Thomas. He is the favorite receiver, and he made the grab out near the midfield stripe.
Well, with the Miami offense like it is, Eli, the one-back offense, of course, they did go the two backs down inside the 20, but with the one-back offense, if your passing game is not working, you've got big-time problems, which is what we've seen tonight.
The sign says, please use the ramps to the exit. There are about 10,000 people who have taken heed of that advice. They wear orange and green. The other 77,000 are still sitting. Here Toretta out of the shotgun. On the shovel pass, nothing going. Larry Jones, and he breaks a tackle. He's forward inside Alabama territory to the 48-yard line. Hard running by Larry Jones on the shovel pass. He was stopped originally on his own side of the 50, then broke into Bama territory. Miami knows the futility of it all. They are not even going to stop the clock. And now, here come some Bama players up behind Gene Stallings. Chad Key is there, and a few others. They want to give the coach the 10K thirst quencher shower. Look out, Gene Stallings. He's got it, and the fans just cheering wildly, and Gene Stallings smiling broadly. 3rd and 7 Hurricanes in the 49. Toretta throws long. He's got a man wide open down at the 5-yard line. Hard hit at the 5, and it will be caught. It will be caught by Chris Jones down at the 5-yard line. The Texaco star of the game selection. Texaco, an official sponsor of the Southeastern Conference. The media in attendance have voted Derek Lassick of Alabama as the winner of that particular award. We'll give you Derek's number soon. 32 seconds, 31 seconds. The crowd just wildly yelling.
My vote, Eli, is for the entire defensive and offensive line.
Here's a 1st and goal from the 9 from the Hurricanes. 20 seconds to go in the game. Here's Toretta. He'll drop back. He'll give off tackle. Jones turns the corner. Stymied by Lemansky. Hall out of bounds at the 3 with 10 seconds to go in the game. The Alabama Crimson Tide, their 12th time in school history, national champions. And this chanting is unbelievable. The fans just dancing in the aisles, young and old alike. Alabama crimson and white shakers are being shaken wildly. Flashbulbs popping everywhere. 34-13. Alabama about to put a national championship away. First time since 79. Now 2nd and goal from the 4 for Miami. Toretta. He's alone. Bama stuffing at the line of scrimmage. Gino drops back. He'll throw a strike into the end zone. Incomplete. Broken up that time by Antonio Langdon as they were looking for Chris Jones in the end zone, and the clock stops with 6 seconds to go.
Eli, we've been playing now for 4 hours almost?
Yeah, game started at 7 minutes. Yeah, 3 hours, 45 minutes. Coach Gene Stallings' family with their fingers in the air saying, we're number 1. His wife Ruth Ann surrounded in their private box by family members. Here now a 3rd and goal from the 4 for the Hurricanes. 6 seconds away from a Bama national title. Toretta, the quarterback, under center, steps back, 2-step, drop, he'll throw a lofter into the corner of the end zone. Incomplete, out of bounds. It was caught by Chris Jones, out of bounds. The game is over. The game is over. And Alabama has won the national championship with a 34-30. Coach Dennis Erickson, and congratulate him on an outstanding season. The Alabama and Miami players now do mingle peaceably enough after a week in which at times tempers were a little short. But Alabama fans enjoying a national title. The Crimson Tide dominating on offense, dominating on defense, And for the 12th time in university history, Alabama is national champions of college football. The naysayers said, no need to even play this ball game. They've been saying that all season long about Alabama. But the Tide wins it big, winning impressively, shutting down Miami in every which way, and they race now to the locker room. Alabama, national champions, 34-13. Jerry Duncan, you're just sitting here with a smile on your face a mile long.
Well, I know how those guys feel. I mean, it's just hard to put into words for me because you work. This is what you work for when you start playing the game of football. When you're in the Pee-wees and you get into junior high school and some of them drop out and then you go on into high school and some of them get to go to college and then you work and most times you get to play on things and you never even have an opportunity to play in a game like this. And all of a sudden you're there, and it's that time, and you go out and you lay it all on the line and you come away with all the marbles. And what more can you say?
It was remarkable. The game plan so meticulously prepared. Alabama had something for every situation. The Alabama players, Eric Curry leading them, have taken the big red and white flag, the crimson and white flag with the letter A, and the Bama players now leading around the field with that big flag behind them. Prince Wimbley celebrating wildly. He is a native of Miami, and he's got the championship to take home with him. And the players now going over to the sidelines to begin shaking hands with the Alabama fans. And of the 77,000 on hand here this evening, some 60,000 wearing crimson and white. And
we're all still here too, Eli.
Everybody is here with the exception of a few Miami fans who have left. What a ball game. What a season. And what a start to another decade, another century of Crimson Tide football.
Because on Monday morning, there'll be a little note that says, let's start today to get ready for this thing again next year.
We invite you now to stay tuned. Our full post-game coverage on the first Alabama Bank fifth quarter show includes Doug Layton in the locker room with the Likes Locker Room Report. Jim Zoki will be standing by with a studio update on the Dixie Crystal scoreboard with a look at all the bowl games played today. A big Miami #1 sign just thrown down from the upper deck, symbolic of the way the Hurricanes turned into a gale-force storm and eventually whimpered away to a light breeze. Bama wins it big, taking the national championship back to Tuscaloosa. Stick around.